It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart. Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Rozorbacks' Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Rozorbacks has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at rozorbacks.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
New show now. Get ready for a big basketball weekend going on in Fayetteville, Arkansas, if you're an Alabama fan. Down on the Plains, if you're an Auburn fan. Would you guys have done this if you were in college at a school like Auburn? Bruce Pearl out and about this morning, sending out this picture. This is what an everything school looks like. The students have been camped out since they were putting those tents up the other night when Taylor and I left. What was that, a Tuesday night game against Oklahoma? They walked straight out, and they had piles of their tent already. They laid that on the ground when they went into the game and started popping those tents up outside the arena.
Basketball school, man. Duke's been doing this a while, right?
Yeah, this is Jungle Village. I feel they called it K Village up there, right, for a while.
Sheshkeville.
Yeah, well, I couldn't say that, Brownie.
Yep. Your wife went there. I thought you knew.
It sounds like I'm cussing. But that was the scene last night. 120 tents in line down that little alley there for a big basketball game, Florida and Auburn tomorrow. Am I making it up? Is it a big I mean, I know it's...
No, sure. It's a top 5 matchup.
Next one for a number 1 team in the country. But does Florida have a chance?
I mean, I think Florida's got a chance. I mean, you've got to tell me, first off, is Walter Clayton Jr. going to play? I mean, that's the key, you know.
The best player is he playing?
Yeah, that would be that would seem to impact the game.
You know, they led the game early on against Tennessee. He turns the ankle, not the same, very limited, and they end up getting blown out. So Florida was to win this game after what they did to Tennessee earlier this year. This would be a major flex win. I don't see it happening, though.
Your point is it would be their second win over the number 1 team in the country because Tennessee was one when they beat them by 30.
Yeah. I was unaware of this until I saw chatter on it this morning, and I didn't know it was the Auburn-Florida game until right now. But Lamb My Believer says, how about the Auburn-Florida game got bumped for the Lakers game on ESPN? Why would they want to show the Lakers on ESPN?
Because it is the debut of Luka.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It was going to be the debut of Luka.
That's what's weird. I mean, don't you just flip it back? I mean, Luka's not playing until Monday. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
It does not.
So what are you saying? They got moved to 3 o'clock?
No. I don't think they changed the time. I just think they changed the network, which doesn't really matter to me. Yeah. But I guess that's a big deal.
No, I mean, you'll be able to find it. I don't think
I've got Florida Auburn 3 o'clock on ESPN. I don't know what we're talking about here.
I saw the story this morning.
And I've got Alabama, Arkansas at 7 o'clock on main ESPN.
From your guy, Rob Bouster.
Okay.
Do you know him?
I do. I trust him. He's part of the Field of 68 family.
And he was talking about how ESPN completely screwed up their schedule for the benefit of the Lakers, and now Luka's not even playing. Now, Lamb My Believer says it was Auburn that was involved. I don't necessarily pay attention to what network the games are on because when I turn on YouTube TV, I just look for the logo of the game.
Yeah, Pacers, Lakers, 3 o'clock ESPN tomorrow.
Oh, I had Florida Auburn when I did this back on Sunday.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They've changed it since then.
Yeah. There's your issue. You did this back on Sunday.
So where's Florida and Auburn? Is it just streaming now?
No. I think it's SEC Network. I'm looking right now.
I had Texas A&M Missouri on the SEC Network.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
More expensive ticket tomorrow.
Breaking news.
Tyler just walked the cuts in.
Yeah.
No, do you think more expensive ticket in Auburn or in L.A.?
Oh, I would say it's in Auburn.
Well, it might be now because Luka's not going to be playing.
ESPN 2 for Auburn, Florida. Now.
Okay.
ESPN 2. So update your sheet, please. So when you announce it, you give the right network.
Technically, I don't think it's screwing it up. I mean, you still get to watch it. And like you said, in today's modern world, I don't even know what channel I'm watching now.
I know. That's the whole point.
I mean, I've really become a third grader. It's like I put on YouTube TV, and I see the logos, and I click on the logos. It's like pop-up
It
picture
really
book
is.
for me.
No, they have dumbed it down for us. There is no doubt.
Yeah, but I think they've also done a discredit to all the other channels.
They have.
Yeah, because like I will not watch anything that is not popped up. It's only sports.
But that's because you never watch that. That's why it never pops up.
Yeah, but if it had a regular guide like DirecTV and I start at the 200s, but it doesn't pop right up.
No, but see,
it's
here's
just different.
All you got to do is move it over one to live, and the guide's right there.
His point is, like, if ESPN and ABC in between that, occasionally, I forget what channel used to be on where they would show a lot of live concerts.
Right.
I forget what the name of that channel was, but if I was going from ABC, just clicking by, going to ESPN, and I would see, Bruce Springsteen live at Madison Square Garden, I'd stop it, and maybe I never made it to where I was going.
E was channel 236, and that would start like the AMCs and the TNTs.
But the guide's on there, right? All you got to do is just click over once.
You've got to make a move for it, though.
You got to make a move to get to what you're going to watch.
I'm just telling you, I guarantee you, the drop off is massive from where they used to get some. Clicks.
I like it because it thinks for me.
Oh,
it's like, here's what Ryan wants to watch: sports. Aerial America, sports.
Yeah.
It serves it right.
I will say I never get a WNBA game pop.
I don't. Well, again, you never watch it. I can tell when my wife's been watching a lot because it'll be sports, HGTV, sports.
For me, it's Auburn basketball, Alabama basketball, British Bake Off. I'm like, okay. Maggie logged into YouTube TV for a change.
All right, so if you're not in the world of the TV thinking for you, you got to go to ESPN2 now to find this game, or you'll be watching, for some reason, the middle of the pack in the West Lakers.
Yeah, afternoon NBA. Whoever does that?
I know.
If it's not the playoffs, why are you playing a meaningful NBA game?
There's Luka again on the bench.
Basically a morning game, I guess, for LA fans.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? Anyway, so basketball tomorrow, Florida, Auburn, 3 o'clock ESPN2, Alabama, Arkansas, 7 o'clock ESPN. Cool thing about Alabama, they're going to Fayetteville. They're not coming home. They're going straight to Austin, going to have a Super Bowl party in between, and they're going to try to get 2 wins before that big showdown. We'll get back to basketball coming up later in the show.
I went to a game last night.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, what
I saw a dude hit 10 threes. How often do you see a guy hit 10 threes?
Let me set you up the way I was going to set you up with this. Ironically, Brown went to his school last night, and he needed to speak a foreign language to get the leading scorer right. It was Spanish he didn't pass, but the French guy last night, Jason Pierre, had 36.
10 threes, guys.
C'est la vie.
10 threes. I mean, like Lance said, how often do you see a guy hit 10 threes? Never.
I would say
Jerron Pierre, by the way, to be fair to him. Jerron Pierre, yes.
Got to be the.
Oh, I thought I had Jason written down.
That was incorrect.
That's got to be the D1 record this year? I mean, this year.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, when have you seen it? I never see it. I mean, the guy was just on fire last night. He's a tough matchup. He's a kid out of New Orleans. There's a couple stops for him, but he's found his home in Jacksonville here late in his career.
77-63, Jack State beat Middle Tennessee to firm their lead there in Conference USA.
Well, and I tell you, that's what scares you to death. Like if you're one of these teams that draws a team like Jacksonville State in the first round, which Jack State, if they win Conference USA, they're what, a 14, 15 seed probably?
13 is where I saw them.
13?
I would say 14.
Okay, 13 or 14 seed, so you're going to draw a 3 or a 4 there. Yeah. And you get a guy like Jerron Pierre, who's a 6'5 guard, so he's going to be a little bit of a tough matchup for some people at that position.
If he hits 10 threes.
And he hits 10 threes, you're going home day one.
You find yourself packed.
That's right. And that's what scares you to death about teams like this.
Well, like Illinois has lost 5 of 8 games.
After I said, boy, that's a really good team. I watched it.
They've lost 5 of 8. Last time I saw a bracket, they had a 5-12 matchup with Samford, buckyball.
Oof.
And because Illinois, they lost the other night to Rutgers, they were 6 of 28 from 3. They were hitting nothing. 6 of 28 from 3. So if you go 6 of 28 from 3, and then you got a little buckyball coming in, a 5-12 matchup.
That's right.
It's advanced time for the 12.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that is the scariest thing about this tournament. I was thinking about that watching last night because I'm watching Jacksonville State, and I'm like, this is probably a 14-13 type team. And if a guy shoots like that, I mean, he was making threes with hands and face. I mean, he was not hitting wide open threes.
I can't find a single game. I have found the record for most threes made in a tournament game.
Which is what?
It was Jeff Fryer, Loyola Marymount. He was 11 of 15. So 11 is the record for an NCAA tournament
this
game.
guy hit 10 of 16 in the regular season last night.
Man.
Yeah. 10 of 16 on route to 36 points.
Big night for Jerron Jason Pierre.
JJP.
JJP.
Don't throw any fireworks.
Yeah.
No, hey, great point there. Basketball tonight, St. John's, UConn, USC, Purdue, a couple of good ones there. We'll get back to basketball coming up. The show being brought to you by our friends at A+. Tell us about A+, Brownie, and we'll get into what is a pretty, let's see, how did I say this? Controversial comment from a current Alabama football player. Controversial. It's a head-scratching comment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. A+bathandkitchen.com. Excuse me for clearing my throat. A+bathandkitchen.com. That is who redid the master bath in the Brown house. When it came time to do it, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She selected Brad Bell and his team. I am thrilled she did because Brad and his team did tremendous work for us, and he can do the same for you. Master bath, kitchen, master bedroom closets. That's what Brad specializes in. Not the only thing he does, but it's where you're going to make your money back when you go to sell your home. It's where you're going to enjoy these rooms when you own your home. And Brad does great work there. Here is his number, 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. That is Brad's number. You can also use Brad's website, aplusbathandkitchen.com, aplusbathandkitchen.com to find out more. Brad Bell, aplusbathandkitchen.com.
I get this from reading Mike Rodak's stuff, but it comes from the Bama Standard podcast. Offensive lineman Rock Montgomery. Now, you listen to this, LT. You can't be late to workouts no more. No more jewelry. No more necklaces. None of that. It's not a fashion show. It's football. He says this team's more dialed in now as they start the off-season program. My question to you is, you can't be late for workouts no more. When could you ever be late for workouts? It seems like they had a little problem dotting some I's and crossing some T's.
Punctuality, I've always told my kids, you're late, you're wasting somebody else's time. That should never even be part of the issue.
Yeah,
I think what becomes a bigger issue is what you said on the other side of being late to meetings.
The no jewelry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe I'm going to watch a football game this next year and Ryan Williams is not going to have a necklace on.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of those small things, though, Brown. But I do believe that, players are transferring for each and every reason they can right now. Well, I can wear jewelry when I'm working out at Georgia Tech. It sounds stupid.
No, but
these are the small things. When you lose a game, if you're winning, everything is fine.
That's right.
But once you have a little adversity, that's when something like this jumps back out. I don't really care. Like, if I'm running the program and you're late. I don't want you. If you want to transfer out because you've got to be on time, so be it. See ya.
Listen, I don't wear a lot of jewelry. In fact, I don't think I wear jewelry, and I wouldn't wear it playing football. I spend all that money.
What about on date night?
I'll throw a gold chain on occasionally.
Let's pretend it's the 80s again, man.
I'll throw a gold chain.
I thought you might throw a ring on for big date night.
Yeah, I'll throw some stuff on. But I don't understand if I'm going to wear my good necklace. I guess you got different levels of jewelry you wear, but if I'm playing football and somebody goes to horse collar me and they grab that necklace, they're going to rip that chain a little bit, and it's going to cost me a little money. If I've got studs in my ear, a little earring in, and I get my helmet ripped off, and that earring catches just right, and one of those pads as that helmet's going off, I'm going to lose an earlobe or something. I don't understand wearing jewelry on a football field anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it even looks weird. You'll have the occasional kicker will wear his wedding ring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's...
You don't see it a lot, but I'm just like, damn, it's strange. I respect it. That's great, but it's a strange look, and I don't understand it.
Like, especially if it's not what Brown has on, a little, the rubbery one.
I've never seen. Did you just get the rubber one?
I've probably been wearing this a year.
Yeah.
Like, really? Every day?
Yeah,
every single day.
A year. Yeah.
I don't care if you're married or not, Brown.
Don't hit on me. Don't hit on me. I got a ring.
To be honest, I got exactly the same one in it. Well, not exactly the same. Mine's cheaper, I'm sure. But it's black.
This is like $24.99.
I know I gave you that, but I've never seen you wear one.
Well, I probably would fit now that I've lost weight, but mine
they had to cut yours off, right?
Well, I did have to butter it up to get it off last time I took it off, so I haven't put it back on in a while. My platinum one, but I'd gotten some of those in, and right when my shipment came in, Brown had started wearing that like 3 days before, and I was afraid to wear it on the show that people would think that he and I had gotten married or something. that we were both wearing the same wedding band.
I would like to
I
think
would
I have better
have
taste than that.
noticed with
if I was-
you. I did not notice with Brown.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've worn that every day.
Every single day.
Tyler, have you noticed this?
No.
I have for about a year. Yeah.
Okay.
I had him about 10 months.
Forrester, did you notice it?
Yeah.
No, I did not pick
Okay.
up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
not
you're
the
not
only-
alone.
I'm
That's
not the
fine.
only
No,
one.
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, I rarely do I look at a man's wedding ring. I'm with you.
Well, I mean, this is the angle I get of you all the time, and that
Yeah.
hand is up, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I get.
No,
all
the
time.
only time I will notice it, weird football game, pickup basketball. Back in the day we used to play the co-ed softball. Occasionally somebody would wear the ring out there. It just kind of jumps out when you're doing it, and you're being active.
No, I
That's what's
agree.
weird
Yeah.
when people working out with jewelry.
It seems
Yeah.
like Kirk Cousins wears the rubbery band one when he's quarterback.
Yeah, he does.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know too many people that have literally had to have it cut off. They've worn it during, like sports, activity, and they jam a finger and it swells so quick that the ring's got to get cut off. I mean, I know multiple people that have had to do that. That's why I would never do it like in a football game.
Anyway, no jewelry, and I assume they're talking about just working out right now. Maybe we'll do that during football season. My take, and I don't know how the chat room's going on this, Brown. My take is, wait, so we're having to say now that we're not late for workouts?
Yeah.
When did that start?
Yeah, that is a good when did that start question. Did
Yeah.
that seep in late in the Saban era? I know most people say, no, there's no way it did, but you do wonder if it did.
I guarantee you there was never an issue in the Saban era.
I would not,
And look, Caleb DeBoer's been doing this long enough. He does it his way. But I would assume after one time you get control of that situation. That is shocking.
Yeah, I mean that's what stood out to me. Oh, now we're going to start? Well, I mean, when did we stop showing up on time? And it's a big, long read. You can check it out at On3 Sports, the Mike Rodak page. I think he's Bama Online. Just good stuff there.
Oh,
The
by the
Bama
way-
Standard podcast, if you want to go to that.
These are the things, again, on the jewelry thing, you'll see a guy or two transfer out possibly because of something like that. But these are the things that will circle back after the second loss this year.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
we're related to workouts again?
yeah, no. I mean, it's going to be people pointing out, hey, look, he lost 4 games in year one. He's already lost 2 games, but this ain't the guy. He couldn't even get his guys to show up on time for workouts.
The folks at The Athletic, there's one writer that does, it's something like unique, it's oddly specific, bold predictions for college football 2025.
Okay.
And that's the title. It gets really specific.
Right.
And it's-
Oddly, in fact.
Yeah. It has LSU, Alabama. It's the first, and it goes week on some game predictions. First time I mentioned Alabama because they will come into this game, the LSU-Alabama game, with 3 losses already, and then he picks them losing that one. He has them going into the Iron Bowl with 4 losses.
That would be
Oddly specific, but yes.
oddly specific and rather disastrous.
Yeah.
Both.
Different feeling on.
Boy, I think either one of those coaches rolls in. I mean, it will be a disaster if Kalen DeBoer did, but I think if Hugh's 7-4 going into that game, now if he wins that game, it's different.
Right.
That 8-4 would feel different.
It'd feel different, yeah.
But if you got 4 losses rolling into that game, that's going to be disappointing for Auburn.
Yeah,
fans.
if that's 4 loss versus 4 loss, nobody's going to be happy.
Our friends at mybookie.ag, getting you ready for Super Bowl weekend, Brown. Next round, you can play a lot of different stuff Super Bowl weekend at mybookie.ag.
You can. Code Next Round is great right there in the sports book. You use Code Next Round, you're going to get that 50% bonus right there, up to $2,000. You use TNR Casino if you want to play at the casino, and they're going to give you a bonus there too on TNR Casino. That is going to be the 300% bonus up to $2,000. So 50% bonus up to $1,000 there in the sports book. The 300% casino bonus up to $2,000 there in the casino. That is when you use code TNR Casino or code Next Round. Right now at mybookie.ag, you have got so many props. Kansas City -1, though, is your point spread. But I am just looking at this list of props, and it is extensive at mybookie.ag.
Todd Fuhrman coming up at 10 o'clock. We'll talk to him about the betting and some of the props as well. mybookie.ag. Brownie, I told you earlier this week, actually is before the AFC Championship game, Patrick Mahomes has 17 playoff wins. Tom Brady has 35. But did you guys know Tom Brady didn't get his 17th playoff win until he was 35 years old?
Really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, think about it. He didn't get his first until, what year was it for him, 2? I mean, he had to be, so he probably played until he was 23 at Michigan. Probably didn't get a playoff win until 25 or 26.
Yeah, and
they went on a nice little heater from that moment until 2004. Then there was a break for a couple of years.
Yeah, but and they were always never a wild card team. So he was able to knock out 2 or 3 playoff games a year.
Yeah. Like I heard the people trying to argue for Eli Manning, and look, the majority of people, they don't want to get on the bad side of the Manning. So anybody that is involved with the NFL is pro Eli Manning. But they're like, man, he won more road playoff games than Peyton or Tom Brady. Well, they didn't play road playoff games.
That's right. They were home every year.
I mean, anytime Eli got them to the playoffs, they squeaked in at 9 and 7.
That is a dumb statement.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those where you sound smart.
He never lost a wild card game.
Yeah. Well, he never played one.
Mahomes and they've never had to play a wild card game.
But I'm telling you, will not hear one person on an NFL forum that will go against Eli Manning on this because they don't want to get on the bad side of the Mannings.
Well, I will bring that up now since we'll get back to the Super Bowl. Last night, the new Hall of Fame class was announced. It was more about who didn't get in, which included Eli Manning, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Sharp. But Eli got a lot of the headlines that he didn't get in.
Yeah, those guys got in, the 3 on the back end.
Oh, I didn't think Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, or Sterling Sharp got in. They're the ones that got in.
They're the ones that got in, yeah.
So
yeah, because
it's the smallest class ever.
Sterling got it on that last chance
for him
ballot.
Okay.
And look, I thought Sterling Sharp was a great player. I didn't think he played long enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame player.
See, that's the problem. Like, Hall of Fame should be the elite of the elite. I've always said this. And now we are marginal, very, very good players.
Sterling Sharp, when he played, was a Hall of Famer.
He was, but to Lance's point, I mean, you've got to, like, is Andrew Luck a Hall of Famer?
He was a much better player than Sterling Sharp when he played.
But is he a Hall of Famer?
And
I disagree with that.
Boy, he was 10 times the quarterback Eli Manning was.
I would agree with that. But Eli Manning deserves being in the Hall of Fame. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
All right, so's Jim Plunkett.
Yeah, but Eli Manning.
Plunkett deserves the Hall of
Here's
Fame.
all you need to know about Eli Manning. 117 and 117.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
is a joke. He was never an all-pro quarterback. Everybody makes the Pro Bowl. Charlie Batch probably made the Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl is different now than it used to be. And just because you go to the Pro Bowl doesn't mean you're a Pro Bowler. You get added to the Pro Bowl team when certain people opt out.
No, that's why when people are like, Eli made the Pro Bowl 5-6 times, who cares? Was he ever an all-pro?
Right.
You know who all-pros were during that time, during Eli? Carson Palmer, Tony Romo. Those guys aren't going to be Hall of Fame guys.
Is Warren Moon a Hall of Famer to you?
Yes.
Yes.
A 102 and 101 and no Super Bowl championships. Yeah. I mean, I understand your numbers there. I'm just saying there's guys in the Hall with those numbers. I mean,
but, you know, the problem for Warren Moon is he played so much in the CFL.
He did.
Like, you know.
Well, it is the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do take that into account, right, when a guy plays in the NFL. I'm just telling you, Warren Moon and Eli Manning have the same numbers, except that Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls.
I find it comical that you will not find one guy involved in the NFL that will say, Eli, man, he was a great player, but he should not be a Hall of Famer.
Well, I think they won't say that because he's 11th all-time passing yards and won 2 Super Bowls.
Well, he didn't get in, so there's obviously a lot of people that don't
But he
believe it.
will. He's going to get in.
They just it didn't happen the first time.
Yeah, he's not first ballot.
But, you know, this is like, right now, I think we've got the greatest collection of quarterbacks at one time that we've ever had. If you go back and you look at when Eli was playing, I mean, where was he even ranking amongst his contemporaries? I mean, Phillip Rivers was a better quarterback.
No, he wasn't. He was never a top 5 guy, I don't think.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And Phillip Rivers would be in the Hall of Fame, too.
Probably based on number.
Well, he's 6th all-time passing.
Well, I
it's
was
going to be
say,
hard.
to me, Phillip Rivers was a better quarterback than Eli
I mean,
Manning.
he just didn't have the postseason success, though, and that factors in.
The problem is Eli Manning's contemporaries are all in the Hall of Fame. Tom Brady, would you call him a contemporary?
Yeah.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame. Drew Brees is a contemporary, right?
Yep.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just going in order of passing yards here. Peyton Manning, his own brother, was a contemporary. He's in the Hall of Fame. Brett Favre was not really a contemporary of Peyton Manning or of Eli Manning. I mean, they crossed
They
over.
crossed that first wild card run.
Yeah, but
Aaron
Brett was
Rodgers.
on his way out. Ben Roethlisberger,
Oh, yeah.
he will be in. He's 5th all-time passing. Phillip Rivers,
Yes.
He will be in. He's 6th all-time passing. Aaron Rodgers, he will be in. He's 7th all-time passing. Matt Ryan, he'll be in.
He's not going to get in.
You don't think so? He's 8th all-time passing.
If his last name was Manning, if he would have held on to the 28-3 lead.
No Super Bowl win does impact it. Yeah.
Yeah. Not his fault at all.
Now, he had a much better season than Eli Manning ever had.
But you think Matt
in
Ryan.
2016.
So you would say Matt Ryan, 8th all-time passing.
I think Matt Ryan was a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Yeah, but
100%.
No. I'm asking
Cam
you.
Newton had one season better than Eli Manning ever had.
And he's not in the
will
Hall
be
of
a
Fame.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you don't think Matt Ryan ever gets in.
No.
124, 109 is a starter, 62,000 pass yards.
I mean, he might because we let marginal guys in all the time.
He's 8th all-time passing.
See Eli Manning. If his last name was Manning, he'd be there.
And, I mean, my point, though, that I bring up is when you say...
All of a sudden, the Mannings are the clouds that the old guy yells at coming around. You're anti-Manning.
No,
here.
I don't care. I do think it is somewhat laughable that you will not see anybody involved in the NFL.
He's a 2-time Super Bowl
So is Jim
winner.
Plunkett.
Yeah, and Jim Plunkett deserves to be in.
No,
Before
he
Eli-
does not. He does not.
He does, too. Jim Plunkett
He might have been
deserves
better
to
than
be in.
Eli Manning.
How many
but he
yards
doesn't deserve to be in.
passing does Jim Plunkett
It was a
have?
different era, Brownie. It was the 70s.
Yeah, and that's why Warren Moon had all those numbers too. But it was, and that was what was impressive was the era was so different.
That's right. Warren Moon's
was
numbers,
putting up crazy numbers.
Yeah, he
in the
played a passing offense.
In the exchange rate now,
Yeah.
for Warren Moon's numbers, he'd be way ahead of a lot of people.
But what I was bringing up is when Lance compares him to his contemporaries, the problem for Eli Manning is everybody that's in the top 8 in passing yards is his contemporary.
Yeah.
He played in an era, and this probably supports your argument. He played in an era that it was as friendly a passing era as has ever existed in football.
That's why you can't compare numbers to what Marino and those guys put up in the 80s. That's what make the Marino numbers and those numbers so outstanding because they did it in a different time.
Well, Marino is 9th in passing.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
And if you watch football back then, they were the passing offense.
Yeah, I mean, he and Elway were contemporaries. He's 9th, and he's 10,000 yards in front of Elway.
Yeah.
Who now is 12.
Hey, and let me say this for the record. This isn't like a Manning thing because I've said this about Kurt Warner. I loved Kurt Warner, but in that offense, I don't think Kurt Warner was elite year to year. He was great in Mike Martz's offense. He gave me my best, maybe most enjoyable sports moment when the Rams won their first Super Bowl 34. But I don't think he's like a shoe, and everybody's like, Kurt Warner's one of the greatest of all time.
Is he not in yet?
Oh, he is in, yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Warner
But I'm
got
just
in.
saying, I was like, man, I could take or leave. And it's kind of like I could take or leave Eli. I just, again, find it funny that you will not catch one person involved with the NFL. And I guess they all want to be on the Manning
what is the being
Gamecast.
okay, on the cast, Manning cast?
Yeah, I'm just saying they don't want to get on the wrong side of the Mannings.
You make it like the
like
Mannings
the
are mafia.
Yeah, now they're going to knock them off. But
Warner.
there are people in a lot of people super sensitive.
Yeah, Warner absolutely would be a Hall of Famer for me if he wasn't in. It would be easy to be a Hall of
Really?
Famer. Yeah.
I don't think he lived up.
Yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he was really good. But
Such a shortened career because he got such a late start.
Yeah, but
he might have had more talent around him. He did have more skill around him than Troy Aikman ever had.
I was about to say, well, hell, do Troy Aikman.
That's
what I was going to point out.
Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Bradshaw had, I think, every player on that starting offense is in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Troy Aikman's 100% there because of rings. I mean, that's the only thing that has him in there.
Well,
and that matters.
That's the only reason Eli's in there.
No, you're absolutely right.
But
That's the only reason
it
he's in
does
there.
matter because Plunkett's not in.
Plunkett should be in. Yeah.
And by the way, Joe Flacco, better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Flacco, by the way, is 18th in passing yards. He and Russell Wilson. You think Russell Wilson will get in?
Oh, yeah.
17th in passing yards.
I don't care. So much better than Eli Manning. Like, there's no way there's no way you could watch Eli Manning play and Russell Wilson play and say Eli Manning was a better quarterback. There's no way. There's nobody that can say
I think Russell Wilson's the better quarterback, but he's played in the same era and is way off on his yards. Way off. Now he's got the rings.
Just one.
Just the
Just
ring.
one, yeah.
The ring.
Yeah.
He's 17th all-time passing, Lance. 46,000 yards.
Something else in the Super Bowl after LT tells us about Odie's. Actually, we'll get to the Super Bowl after he tells us about Odie's.
Great weekend to get in. Live music tonight and tomorrow night. Both locations, the original Crestline, the newest location right there in Edgewood. Great place to get lunch, dinner, watch college hoops. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham institutions, both Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Rodney Davis serving up that incredible food from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets, full of Bud Light all weekend long. It's Odie's.
Okay, here's my question. Everyone is saying this matchup is built to be a classic Super Bowl, that we're going to have one for the ages. I got two things here. One, how healthy is the offensive line for Philadelphia? Because that could impact whether it's a classic or not. And two, there's reports that an illness is going through the Eagles, that 5-6 guys are missing practice. And
well, Jalen Carter was one of those guys. I heard Schefter kind of acknowledge this today and said it wasn't the issue a lot of people thought it was going to be.
Okay, that's good news.
But it is something to look at.
What about the O-line? Have you heard an update on the O-line?
I have not.
Because if you've got two guys that are barely out there and standing on half a leg.
No, I get it, but I mean, they were barely, tapping out left and right, and they still ran the Commanders off the field. But I think it is a bigger deal against Chris Jones in this defensive front for Kansas City.
Okay, now I've been told before going into the Super Bowls it's going to be a classic. One of them was Peyton Manning Broncos, I believe, against Russ and the Seahawks. And that first snap went over Peyton's head. Was that matchup?
Oh, yeah.
And it was, 50-something to 8
or
something?
It was bad.
Yeah, but I was told that was going to be a classic going into that one.
Well,
too.
just like
so here's my
in
fear.
Broncos and Panthers, you were told that was going to be a classic.
I was told that was going to be a classic. So I've been told before. I was told Buffalo and the Cowboys that
I
one year was going to be a classic.
I really don't think, and this could be the ultimate jinx. I don't know if it's going to be a classic. I would be shocked if anybody is leading this game by 14 plus. I mean, these two teams just play it so tight. And that's the crazy thing about Kansas City is, like, in the NFL, all these games come down to a possession, but how in the hell are you 12-0 in one-possession games?
They've won 17 straight one-possession games.
Because
because of Pat Mahomes.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's almost no amount of time you're comfortable giving Mahomes. I mean, just ask the Bills. 13 seconds, right? Was it 13?
Yeah, it was
where he
like
managed 2 plays and a field goal to win the game. I mean, there's no amount of time where you're like, all right, we scored. There's no way Mahomes can get us now. I mean, that you can't leave any time on the clock for that guy. That's how they're so good in those one-possession games. That's his best football. He plays his best football then.
I feel like they're so good at that because one-possession games are such scramble moments.
And that's what he does.
And it's so off script. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's backyard play.
Well, you're scared to death of him.
Right.
If you're a defense, you are scared to death of him in those situations. And it just seems like defenses hedge more towards playing it safe against him rather than saying, look, he's going to carve us up either way. Let's at least pressure him and make him carve us up that way. Because when they play safe, what's he do? He stands back there and carves them up. I mean, he's going to carve you up either way. You may as well go down with your best game, right?
So good on the run-pass options there. So we're set up for a classic, they tell us.
I mean, look, we got a classic 2 years ago when they played.
Yeah.
I still don't know how Philadelphia lost that game.
Hope it's the same game. And we will go in with Andy Reid he will set a record. Andy Reid will be coaching in his 45th postseason game, passing Bill Belichick, most in the NFL. So Andy Reid has coached now, and more once he gets to
he's a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's pretty easy.
Once we get to Sunday, kick it off at 5:30. Andy Reid is the leader in NFL postseason games as a head coach. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
considering how many rings Belichick has won.
Well, you go back to Andy Reid. I mean, Donovan McNabb, Hall of Fame quarterback, really good, better than Eli Manning, but not even close to the level you've got right now with Pat Mahomes. But I mean, they were there every year for the NFC Championship game.
More college football coming up. Brown will talk to us about the SEC checks that went out there yesterday. Is that number what you expected to be? We'll do more basketball, more Super Bowl, all coming up today. The show being brought to you by our wonderful friends at the New York Butcher Shop. Do we still have time today to get to the butt, or is that done, the butt at New York Butcher Shop? Or do we have time today to
No, you got
in?
time because you can actually pick it up tomorrow. So what you need to do, though, is if you haven't done this yet, you're listening to us right now, you're trying to figure out your Super Bowl meal, they have got that Boston butt sale going on right now, $39.99. They're going to smoke it for you, available for pickup. You probably call it in right now. You can get it later today or tomorrow. You can call the Cobb Heights location, 205-970-7300. The Greystone location on Highway 119, 205-703-8825. Not only the Boston Butt, where you can get it reservation only. They've also got the hamburger patties. They've got dips, local craft beers, fine wine, smoked chicken wings. Rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
It's Jim. Can I get one of those Boston Butts? You still have one of those?
Acting.
I'll pick it up Saturday morning. That'll be no problem. All right. LT was just talking about that. All right, Jim, man. Thank you very much. Works that easy right there. We're back in a moment in the next round.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Roback. Go to roback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Back with you on the Next Round. A little interesting scheduling note for you here in just a second. But first,
I saw this.
But first, we've got to get it out of our heads what we used to think this game was and what it is now. But last night, Brownie was over at Jacksonville State, and he got to see royalty. Check it out. This is Brownie's video last night. Brownie, who's this?
That's Red Panda, Jimmy D.
There is no way Red Panda was in Jack State.
Buddy, that's video of it right there. Red Panda's everywhere, man.
Boy, you can't hide it, can you, if you're Jack State?
Jack State got that money going, Greg.
I mean, hell, Red Panda's got to make some serious money now.
Yeah, I don't know what she makes per show. I'd be interested in knowing that because I think she does a show every night.
It's got to be 10 grand, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Brown. She does a show every night, so I bet the cost is different. Is she like in the 70s when they used to rock bands would tour? I bet they played Birmingham at a different rate than they played Atlanta. You know what I mean? Just to connect the bus route, they'd stop and play Birmingham, and then they'd play Atlanta.
I've got one little blurb on how much she makes. Although this is coming from the Chicago Bulls subreddit, so
okay,
okay. I would guess 10 grand a night. That seems a little steep.
Wow, that's heavy.
I'm gonna say she pulls in $33,000.
I bet you it's also based on size of venue. Like I bet Jack State gets a different rate than Alabama and a different rate than Rupp Arena.
Yeah, that was my point. Yeah,
but okay. Before you get into this, if I'm repping her, we're not doing Jack State then.
Well, but if you've got an open night, like to Dunaway's point, you only got so many Thursday night basketball games. So if she's Wednesday night,
but I would just seek out the calendar. I don't know why in the hell she would want to do every night anyway.
Well, to make a living.
This is her money making season.
If you seek it out, if you're doing 11 calendar dates as opposed to 28 calendar dates, and you're doing them for twice as much.
So what she make?
But she's got a place setting of 28 and a family of 1.
No, but I'm saying that like instead of being at Jack State last night, she could have been at an NBA venue.
She could have been.
She would have been if she had that date, but she had an open date. She was in Atlanta, probably at the Hawks. What if she's at Auburn?
I'm just saying she's got
Saturday and she had a Thursday night free.
She does not have great representation if she's doing Jack State.
Red Panda is a giant
now.
Now
wait a minute. That was a shot at Jacksonville State.
Name it. I love Sanford. I love Jack State. I love UAB, but she could be doing bigger venues.
Well, she could be.
Well, she only gets $3,500.
I don't believe that.
Oh, I was really close.
So,
well, somebody in the chat room says Jeff says she makes $5 grand a show.
I think 5 would be more in line.
Yeah.
35 seems. I mean, Dunaway might get that for going to speak at the quarterback club.
Well, boy, if you do,
I've done one speaking engagement.
You need a better speech you normally do.
Let's put in.
You normally do them for free, but
I usually do it for free. Yeah, I pulled in $2,500.
But she is so good at what she does.
So there you go. I mean,
what an act.
We can have Dunaway or we can have Red Panda.
I'm going to get Red Panda, Jim.
That's
no
been
offense.
a while. It was early 2000s.
Can we get Red Panda to host the show one day?
I don't know what the language situation is there. I've never seen an interview with her.
Yeah,
I'd love if she would ride that unicycle across.
Just around it here all show.
I don't think Forrester could get the shot.
Audience.
Yeah. Low ceiling.
Would Michael Scott mark her?
She is so good at what she does, though. I mean,
the first time I saw her was when we were out in L.A. for Alabama, Texas. So that was January of 2010. I mean, she's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was even before that. So 2010.
Well, that's the first time I saw her in person.
Yeah. Our friends at New Life Arts, you can get historic. I don't think Daniel A. Moore has ever painted a red panda.
Boy,
painting.
he should.
Yeah, it would at least sell one.
The Panda family?
If it costs less than $3,500. Friend, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Get the legend. Use the coupon code, promo code TNR for everything you purchase at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. The legend is a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. Check it out right there. Calendars available with all the great works and a lot more. It's all at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Homecoming games, we used to, it used to be an easy win, get the old people back on campus, the alums, and celebrate and then go beat the old directional school. Homecoming games are not what they used to be. November 15th, homecoming this year announced for Alabama. Their opponent, Boomer Sooners.
Got to pay back, man. Set that homecoming game, pay back that loss last year.
Yeah, I think I'd lay the points right now.
I'm just saying that it was last year, I think, on the show that somebody got offended that they were somebody's homecoming game.
I've been past that about a decade now because it used to sound strange.
That's right.
But now, I mean, you've got to schedule these teams. I mean,
that's right. And you play 8 conference games. You usually at the beginning of the year, you don't want to do homecoming in the first couple of games. You don't want to do homecoming against Mercer before the Iron Bowl.
No,
you're sort of traditionally you need an October-November date.
What
This
are
is actually
those?
late for a homecoming for me,
What-
November 15th.
Yeah.
What are their home SEC opponents?
Well, you get LSU at home this year.
You'd never make that homecoming, right?
You get Tennessee at home this year.
And they're not going to make that homecoming, probably.
They're both better than Oklahoma.
Yeah. And now you see the problem now is you're getting too early for homecoming. You kind of like homecoming to be in October, don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
October's usually the homecoming month.
It needs
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
Should never be in September. Should never be in November.
If we were doing next round Family Feud, which by the way would be a great show if we did that this summer.
Dude, by the way, there's a lot of these little reels going around of
Yeah.
Steve Harvey, and just like it was like first thing you would do with a divorce, and the guy's like threesome.
Yeah. I have seen these, and I always wondered, did they really make it
Yeah,
into the
some
show?
of it feels staged.
No, I don't
Some
think
of it
so.
does, yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen some of
it was
them.
Like one
feels
body
staged.
part that begins with T.
Yeah.
Titties.
Yeah. But if we were doing Family Feud, next round style, homecoming month's best one, October would have been the answer,
Yep.
number one. November would be second. September
Boy, it'd have to be
would-
early November,
Yeah,
though.
well, this November 15th. You only got 2 games after that.
Yeah, you do. Now, October 4th, they host Vandy. That felt like a good homecoming
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
That's another debt you have to pay back.
Yeah, I mean, it's payback game, October 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably get into that more than Oklahoma. John Mateer's going to be really good.
I would say that Vandy is absolutely the team that has been the homecoming team of all SEC schools
Oh, yeah.
more than anybody
They've
else.
seen more Queen's Crown than anybody in the SEC. There's no doubt.
That's right.
Do you think Diego has an off year this year?
I do, yes.
I just don't think he sneaks up on
I think
anybody.
he caught lightning in a bottle last year. And, I mean, when we look back on it, he really wasn't as good as we probably made him out to be.
Yeah. I think you're going to find probably a cheat code on him.
Yeah.
And I think he probably gets exposed. This
I
year.
would agree 100% with you.
Indiana is parting ways with Mike Woodson, the one coach that is going to be the target, according to Jeff Goodman, who covers college basketball. He has a list, but he's one guy that they think will be number one they'll go after. After I remind you, our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, here for you guys to stay on top of your health. Early detection is so important with things like prostate cancer, right? So our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama want you to stay on top of your prostate health from an early age all the way until you're my age and everywhere in between. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920. Early detection with your prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between. They'll take care of you. They got 16 locations. Urologists standing by to help you. You can find out more details or make appointments by calling 205-930-0920. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Indiana going to part ways with Mike Woodson, according to reports. He's 14-9, 5-7 this year. Here's a note I did not know. According to Jeff Goodman, reports are they spent over $5 million on portal additions for this roster this year.
That ought to make you good alone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, now,
in basketball, it should.
Yeah, as Nick Saban said, if you spend the money on the wrong guys, you're SOL. I get that, but boy, if I've got $5 million at Indiana, I feel like I could put together a good team.
Who's the one coach you think they're? And here's a hint. It's an SEC coach. Who's the one coach you think Jeff Goodman thinks will be their target, and he actually thinks he'll take it?
I was going to say Todd Golden, but there's no way Golden would leave Florida for Indiana.
I mean, I would think
Chris Beard.
I would think
He mentioned Todd Golden on the that next tier that would be a good look.
Because
to
I was
go
even
after.
thinking, would Chris Beard leave Ole Miss for Indiana? I don't know if I would. That sounds insane.
Chris Beard is the guy.
Is that the answer?
And he believes Chris Beard will be their number one target and that he will take the job. I'm like you. With where the SEC is in basketball right now, Indiana's in the Big Ten, so you're getting a ton of money as well. They're going to spend money on basketball.
not that much more. I mean, well, you
More-
might be
more on that in a second, yeah.
But I mean, you just made the point though. Is which one? Like, if I'm at Ole Miss and we're getting the same amount of money as Indiana is, am I able as the basketball coach to get the bigger cut of that than what Mike Woodson was able to at Indiana? Is your point?
If the AD is walking down, if he's walking 15 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour down Manning Way and finds a $20 bill on the sidewalk, does the AD pick it up and hand it to Lane Kiffin or Chris Beard?
Lane Kiffin.
Probably
gives
Lane
it Lane
Kiffin.
Kiffin,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Now, we say that. Yesterday we were talking about BYU is going to become a basketball school, so I don't know what some of these collectives are doing. But if I'm Chris Beard, the opportunity to win a championship, I guess Indiana, just because it seems so unlikely at Ole Miss. But it's kind of a lateral move now.
Yeah.
It's crazy you're saying that, but it is true.
Yeah, and I feel like you've got to have a little loyalty to Ole Miss giving you that other opportunity because, although when the allegations were made, it seems a lot different. Now, nobody sees this because of the retraction is always page 3 or 4, but they still did take a shot, and they took a little heat by hiring Chris Beard. So much like Bruce Pearl, we talk about the loyalty all the time. I think there's got to be a little bit of loyalty.
I think so, but also just the quality of where the conference is basketball-wise. I mean, worst case scenario is this league. There's no way this league doesn't get at least 10 bids this year, maybe even as high as 13.
You're the SEC, not the Big Ten.
The SEC. The Big Ten, they're going to get a bunch of bids too, but it's a deeper league in the SEC than it is in the Big Ten these days.
I mean, the Big Ten's got 6 teams ranked right now, but how many of those 6 teams can win a national championship? I don't think any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, your highest-ranked team is Purdue. Do you think Purdue can win a national championship?
Well, not this year. And you make a point. When's the last time the Big Ten won one?
2000.
2000.
It's been a quarter of a century. Yeah, I mean, the Alpha League, it's not even close right now as the SEC.
So, Chris Beard is currently 7th among SEC teams in the net, okay? Now, I'm not saying in the standings. I'm just saying this is the net, the NCAA net. He's the 7th-ranked SEC team. Where do you think that has him? If you just had to guess at Ole Miss.
7th in the SEC probably has him 13th in the net.
Well, 20th.
Okay.
Michigan State is the 7th in the Big Ten. They're 21st.
Well,
so I know you can't make a decision based on that.
But I was going to ask you right now, Ole Miss, when we talk about the 6 teams that are ranked in the Big Ten, I think Purdue's probably better. Michigan State's probably better. This is where it gets tricky. Maryland or Ole Miss. Wisconsin or Ole Miss, Illinois or Ole Miss, Michigan or Ole Miss. Illinois had some bad losses recently.
It is. I mean, is Ditka driving the bus? If Chris Beard's coaching Ole Miss, I like Ole Miss in a lot of those games.
And if I'm
Chris Beard,
I look and I'm like, man, you had Mike Davis play for a national championship. This is a university that has won multiple national championships under Bobby Knight. What has Ole Miss ever done in basketball?
Nothing.
They haven't, but...
And that's why it makes Lane Kiffin look like such a much better coach because of what he's doing at Ole Miss.
But at some point in college football, you started looking at the Army job and going, that program's not going to win those national championships anymore like they did last decade or 2 decades ago.
So different, though.
I'm just saying, at one point, Army was a powerhouse, and at some point you had to say, you know what, I'm not going to take that Army job. I'm going to stay here at
the military requirements, the conference affiliation. I mean, Indiana is still in a good spot. And, go back to your question you just asked. If I'm Kurt Cignetti, though, you're firing your basketball coach. I just want 11 games.
Yeah.
Like, if we're getting this collective together, if you guys really want to make some money, but back me on this.
Well, Coach, we appreciate what you've done, but we're in the state of Indiana, Coach. This is basketball state. Look at Purdue over there. They played for the national championship last year, Coach Sig. We're trying to catch them.
I never thought we would have – I mean, who's more relevant right now? I never thought we would see this in our lifetime, but Indiana or UCLA basketball?
More relevant?
UCLA basketball is done more recently than Indiana has, and they're a pretty good little team this year. UCLA's a better team.
They did win a national championship 30 years ago.
I mean, Tom Crean was the last coach to at least get them to the Sweet 16. He did it twice. And that was 2015, 2016. Last time we're going on a decade since they've been to a Sweet 16 at Indiana. So in a lot of ways, Chris Beard could be the guy that returns them to,
Would you take the job?
To glory. I would probably stay at Ole Miss. And the reason I would, though, is thinking differently than these coaches think, Lance. My line of thinking is Ole Miss has paid. Now, the loyalty thing, that's a factor, right? But Ole Miss is paying me, what's Beard making, $6-7 million?
Oh, I don't think he's making that much.
$5-6 million?
3 or 4 probably.
Really?
I think they got him on the cheap based on circumstances.
I'll look that up. Ole Miss is paying me good money. I'll probably get an extension this year. Like, I've gotten past the circumstances now, and now I've shown you I could take your program to some pretty good places.
Ole Miss is good enough to make a Sweet 16 run this year. I think we would all agree.
Yeah.
So, what kind of contract does that get you?
Yeah, and
especially if somebody comes calling.
The way I would look at it is I am not in the pressure cooker of Indiana basketball. I'm making good money. I can win here. I can probably win to the same level I win at Indiana here, and I'm not the pressure cooker. But we always think that way, and these coaches never think that way. These coaches always think, I'll go be as good as Bobby Knight was there.
Hey, and one more point from me. What are the facilities? Like, back in the 70s and 80s, I'm sure the Indiana basketball facilities were some of the best compared to especially what you would have in Oxford. But now, would it shock you if you heard that Ole Miss's basketball facilities are much better than Indiana's?
It wouldn't surprise me. The arena's newer. The problem is it's not full all the time. It's always full at the Indiana one, and I think that does matter to coaches sometimes.
Man, I can't remember.
I try to tell that to friends of mine when they don't go to games or they try to sell their tickets.
But if they sell the tickets, somebody's going to be there.
Yeah. Not necessarily the team you want to be there. I'm just saying that I think things like that matter for coaches. If I walk out for the introductions every night, my place is packed as opposed to half full. I like doing it in front of a packed house.
I can't remember the last time I watched a game in Assembly Hall. I'm not talking about like physically being there.
Yeah, but watched a TV game.
Yeah, like, and I don't like, is it still sold out night in, night out?
I think it
Probably.
is. But they're just booing their asses off. Right?
Yeah, Mike Woodson.
The show being
Stupid hire.
The show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you Lance'sLock.com. Lance will have Super Bowl plays coming up on Sunday. He'll have a lot of the college basketball plays tomorrow. You got a massive Marquette Creighton game tomorrow. Creighton's won 8 straight basketball games. They're good. Marquette's a great team, could win a national championship. That's a huge showdown, 1 o'clock on Fox. You got probably the last game that Duke can lose in the ACC, Duke and Clemson tomorrow. And all the SEC games, play them all at Lance'sLock.com.
Yeah, jump on board. Free play every day, Lance'sLock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, HempHillServices.com.
Todd Golden's the head coach at Florida. They're at Auburn tomorrow. He spent some time with Bruce and Stephen Pearl on a coaching staff. The 39-year-old was asked, is Bruce Pearl a mentor to him?
So isn't Bruce like your mentor?
One of them, yes. Yeah. Bruce also coached me in 2009 in Israel in the Maccabi games. Stephen, his son, is one of my best friends. And I owe a lot to them, in terms of my success as a coach. And, don't really know what else to say about it, except I'm proud to be coaching Florida and doing well. And, I'm excited to try to beat Bruce on Saturday.
Yeah, a chance to go up against they've got a nice relationship. We sent out video. Taylor got video of Stephen Pearl and Todd Golden at the SEC tournament last year after a big Florida win.
This guy can coach, and it's a fun style to watch. This is a tall hill to climb, though. I mean, Auburn's won 14 straight overall. They've won 15 straight consecutive SEC games. Yep. But, boy, this would be a huge win for a Florida team that I still think has got Final Four talent. I mean, they've just got great guard play.
Yeah, whenever they get healthy at guard, whenever the guy comes back 100%, we'll see what he is against Auburn. They are a team that can go the distance. Do you guys remember the last time Auburn lost at Neville Arena?
I think it was 23.
Against Alabama, the Brandon Miller Alabama team?
It was not.
I think it was that season, though, right?
It was 365 days ago today.
Oh. Today?
Yeah.
Was that the last SEC game they've lost?
February, maybe. No, they lost after that. February 7th to Kentucky with game day there, 365 days ago today.
Oh, that was a great game.
Is the last time they lost. It was a putback, right? A little putback at the end.
I think so, but I think it was a high-scoring game.
Yeah. That's the last time they lost at Neville Arena. They don't lose there a lot. That's what Florida has to do to get them tomorrow. One more. Let's go Nate Oates here on cut number 3 for Alabama. Tide playing Arkansas, 7 o'clock on ESPN tomorrow night prime time. This is Hey Coach the other night from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Arkansas is starting to get great play from Janelle Davis. Wagner's playing good. They got a big guy inside. Alabama's biggest question mark is defense. Here's Nate Oates on defense on this road trip, Arkansas and Texas.
I think Sears looked really good. I think that's the best Sears looked last game on defensive end, to be honest with you. I thought his effort was outstanding. I think if we can get healthy, it'll really help our defense. But, Cliff's starting to understand exactly what we want out of him. I thought Aiden Sherrell's play as good as he's played. Both sides of the ball. Getting a healthy Diabate certainly would help on defense too, play him a little bit more. But, I think when your best player is playing really hard on defense like we had Sears doing on Saturday, I think it makes your defense a lot better, and we need him to keep doing that for us. And then the biggest thing we got to improve moving forward to be our turnovers on offense, which will help our defense too. I mean, just the dumb turnovers we've had leading to layups on the other end, it's killing our offense and our defense both. So the fact we were still able to win by 20 plus with 20 turnovers speaks to how good we really were on the defensive end. It also speaks to how good of shots we were able to get when we're not turning it over.
I can't say his name. I can't say his name. The big guy for Arkansas that was at Kentucky, who's now with the Hogs. That becomes a big problem on the defensive and offensive side for Alabama in this game.
Well, I was going to bring up the fact that I don't know if you're going to clean up the turnovers. Like, we're 22 games into the season for Nate Oates and Alabama. I think that's just part of it. Look, they've been winning with turning the basketball over. They've won 13 of the last 14. This Arkansas team, it feels so different. When they started the league 0-5,
yes,
and you lose Boogie Flan, you think the season's basically flushed. They've won 3 of 4. So, the bad news for Alabama is that is going to be a extremely charged up atmosphere. The good news is you've had a full week off.
That's right.
So you can weather, maybe an early storm. You can weather, big runs during this game because you're going to have fresh legs.
Yeah, they've been banged up. Alabama's a little bit of a banged up team, but having a week off ought to help that as much as anything could. That's not to say they're 100% healthy, but it'd be a lot better than having to play a midweek game and still go up there not banged up.
Every now and then you'll get some rogue 48-hour to 24-hour out numbers for some of these games. I was looking earlier this morning. I didn't see anything. I'm guessing Alabama's going to be a 2.5-point favorite.
2.5-point favorite on the road at Red Heart. Arkansas, who all of a sudden is first 4 out on Lenardi's bracketology, from nowhere to almost in the dance that quick. Big games tomorrow. We'll talk to Fuhrman about the biggest game of all, the Super Bowl, when we come back right here on TNR.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service. The New York Butcher Shop.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Here we go, hour number 2 now. Todd Fuhrman standing by to talk to us about 1,000 prop bets, the Super Bowl, and maybe we'll have time to get a little college basketball in on the backside coming up. Bet the Board podcast. He'll give us some NASCAR stuff before the season's over with as we get close to the Daytona 500. But nobody better on a Super Bowl weekend than bringing Fuhrman in here.
BetTheBoardPodcast.com. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. Excellent start there. At Todd Fuhrman on social media. What is up, Fuhrman? How are you today?
I am doing well, gentlemen. Excited to finally get some of this Super Bowl hype in the rearview mirror and see toe meat leather on Sunday as we've broken down every single possible angle you could think of and then some to try and find a wagering edge for the big game.
I got into props early this morning. I've been looking at them a little bit all week, Fuhrman, but, man, I didn't even get a tenth through today. I don't know how many, what's the biggest number of props you've heard available at one certain book, and then kind of paint the picture for us, because we've all been to Vegas a lot. I've personally never been Super Bowl weekend. I've heard it's incredible, but what is this weekend like compared to other big weekends in Vegas?
So it's always interesting. I think there are a couple of sporting event weekends that are worth coming out to Vegas for that you put on your proverbial bucket list. And the 3 that I would put up there to do once and maybe not necessarily do again, of course, that opening weekend of March Madness where things tip off with the play-in games on Tuesday and Wednesday, but the real buzz starts Thursday in through Sunday when you have 48 games, it's wall-to-wall action, and now with the schedule being stratified, it gives you an opportunity to stay in action from sunrise to sunset. Super Bowl weekend, while it's just one game, I mean, the energy and some of the parties that are available out here, absolutely tremendous. And then the one that I think is a little bit underrated is actually that Cinco de Mayo weekend where typically you get a big fight, you get the Kentucky Derby, you have the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and a little bit of Major League Baseball. Plus, you're able to spend quality time at the pool and take in some of those sights and sounds. So those would probably be my top 3 weekends. In terms of prop offerings, look, Lance, some of these books right now, if you included the index markets, are well north of 1,000 different options, and that includes cross-sport props, every player you could think of, over-under for longest reception for a lot of these players. But I think there was a note that came out this morning from Caesars that really made my head spin about how the space is changing in terms of the overall preferences. One of the folks at Caesars said there were more tickets on Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown in the game than there was on the money line and spread combined.
Wow.
So it just puts things in perspective, how big the prop market is getting and how fantasy-centric things have become in games of this magnitude.
So before we hit some of the props that you like, let's talk about the actual overall point spread. Kansas City this morning, a 1-point favorite over Philadelphia. Is that where you think this will go off? A total, by the way, of 49. Is that where you think this will go off, and what do you see in that?
I think there's a possibility that some books that take some of the larger bets that are out there could trend closer to a pick 'em before kickoff. It depends how much emphasis you want to put on this flu bug rumor that's circulating that could be impacting some of the key contributors for the Eagles. But as far as the numbers concerned, I made Philadelphia a very short favorite in the game, less than a point. So it doesn't offer all sorts of opportunity and upside to take the dog plus 1.5. But I have a small bet there, probably the smallest that I'll have on the game, coming in on the side. A much different scenario than if you were talking about making a team a 3-point favorite and having the opportunity to lay 2.5 around those key numbers. The total I haven't gotten to, but I can tell you it's far cry from where we kind of modeled it out. This number was expected to be in that 46.5, 47 range before we saw these teams play in their respective conference championships. Both of those games go flying over the total. This number opens as high as 50.5, and it's no shock whatsoever that we've seen some under money, but I can see multiple scenarios where the game gets loose if one of these teams has to chase, but I am nowhere close to betting this game over the total. It would be under or pass the way the market currently sets.
Easiest bet on the board for me.
Here we go. Get ready, Fuhrman. Write it down.
Brownie, I got my pen and paper out right now. Go ahead, lay it on me, Dunaway. Let me know how I'm going to make my money.
I've got two. One of them, Harrison Butker over 1.5 field goals made. Easy.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you listen to the Bet the Board podcast, so even you can't put the kibosh on that one. Continue.
Oh, you got that one right. Okay, I like that one. My other one is Dallas Goddard over 4.5 receptions.
Well, everybody's going to have that.
Yeah, the Goddard stuff, to LT's point, seems to be the trendiest props that are going on right now. People are looking at how Kansas City has defended or failed to defend the tight end position all season, making a case to go over 4.5 catches and bet him over his yardage numbers. The receptions one I actually like a little bit more, although I don't have either one of them in my portfolio. The yardage one is fascinating because people want to clamor about the X's and O's, but typically for Dallas Goddard, we were looking at his over-under receiving yards props in the low 40s. Earlier this postseason. Now you're being forced to pay a premium. The Butker one, though, we definitely are on ourselves. We went over 1.5, some prices that are a little bit shorter, but still show value the way it's currently being priced. And the main reason behind that is because when you look at this Chiefs offense, they've been able to move the ball up and down the field at a rate we haven't seen from this Chiefs offense since 2018. And even against Vic Fangio, they've been able to show success in 8 prior meetings. The issue for Kansas City is the red zone execution hasn't been there. So if these drives bog down, or even if they're inside, the 40-yard line, Andy Reid not going to be afraid to kick long field goals with Harrison Butker. So I give you that stamp of approval. It was one of the best bets we gave out on the podcast yesterday. I cannot get there with the Dallas Goddard stuff myself.
Okay, Fuhrman, I play to win, but if you like hedging, I think this is kind of a safe bet, and I don't know where these numbers fall right now, but there's going to be so much focus on Travis Kelce, at least from your typical layman out there playing those props. But if you played the over on Xavier Worthy and the over on Hollywood Brown, I think worst case you split, because it seems like Worthy's getting more involved in this offense, and it seems like Hollywood Brown, now back from injury, is getting really involved in the offense.
So the Brown stuff I am on in terms of receptions, not for yardage. I think he can be a high-volume receiver relative to where the market has him priced. We went over 3.5, and I think there's some minus 130s out there now that I would still give the stamp of approval to as well. He has a somewhat favorable matchup because I don't think he's going to be lined up with Quinyon Mitchell from start to finish. And you look at Darius Slay, he's not the same elite cover corner that we've grown accustomed to throughout his career. So as Hollywood gets more involved, the slant routes and some of the short stuff, I think work right into his favor. The Xavier Worthy side of things, I'm a little bit more skeptical on because Kansas City's strength this year has been getting the ball out of Mahomes' hands at a very quick pace. You look at how many passes he's thrown to the line of scrimmage or behind, and Worthy has kind of been the biggest beneficiary of that, taking the short catch, turning it into a long gain. Problem being is that Philadelphia's defense is amongst the best in the league when it comes to tackling in space. So it's part of the reason that you haven't seen a lot of movement from professional bettors on the over-under for catches or total yards on Worthy. But what you have seen is people looking to bet him under his longest reception at 20.5 yards, thinking that Philadelphia will continue to do what they've done all year, and that's taking away the explosive.
What is the Kelce catch number, reception number? Because I want to bring this up. 3 catches, and he passes Jerry Rice most receptions in Super Bowl history.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 3 catches, and he passes Jerry Rice most receptions in Super Bowl history. So I'd love to know what that number is for Kelce on receptions, Fuhrman, because they're going to make sure he gets that record.
Yeah, 6.5. The rate on Kelsey receptions, kind of standard for where you see his over-unders priced throughout the course of the playoffs and given everything that he's been able to do in the past. Now, that prop is taking under money, trying to figure out exactly how prominently Kelsey will be featured. I don't think we're going to get a rock-bottom performance like we saw from Kelsey last time out against the Buffalo Bills, where they made it a focal point to kind of take him away. But I also don't think we're going to see him go for 117 receiving yards like we did against the Houston Texans with that big explosive. So he's kind of a player that I've steered clear from. Thought we might be able to get a slightly more inflated receiving yardage number. And there's a chance if that price does drift up, there's a prominent book out here hanging a 65.5 that's a little bit off market compared to 61.5 that I may be forced to nibble on closer to kickoff.
Todd Fuhrman with us, bettheboardpodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on social media. We'll get a few college basketball questions in a moment. What is a value play for MVP? For those that have not looked, Mahomes, Barkley, and Hurts are your biggest favorites for MVP. Do you have a value play outside of those heavy favorites?
Wish I did, honestly, with these guys. And I think, in all honesty, the three guys, if you can get Saquon Barkley, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts, I know you have to lay a substantial price at some books. That would be the trio that I would look at. You go down the board and try and figure out the path that a player like an A.J. Brown or a Travis Kelce would need, and I'm not sure I see it there. Maybe on the defensive side if it's a real ugly game, but you can also kind of take advantage of some of the different betting options that are out there via a same-game parlay vehicle, and if you think Saquon Barkley is going to be that guy, maybe you look to bet him, over his rushing yards, over 1.5 touchdowns, and try and find a creative way to manufacture a parlay that's going to pay a little bit more than what's currently being offered in the MVP market. I just don't see, a lot of other guys impacting the game in a major way that I could try and get to a long shot, kind of stealing that hardware.
Yeah, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, you could get him at plus 5,600 right now if you would like him. That's the top. That's the top defensive player.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, guys, that I think if you're looking at a defensive player, you may as well look to almost try and parlay it with the under in the game, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to have one of those guys very much in the discussion, unless you get a defensive player that has multiple turnovers forced and a couple of touchdowns. But if a George Karlaftis, a Jalen Carter, or a Chris Jones gets there, I think the ceiling for either team's offensive output has to be set at 17 to 20 points.
You mentioned Saquon and all the tickets coming just an anytime touchdown from Saquon. What do you think is the safer play if you do like the under? Like right now it's 114.5, but you can also play his longest rush under 24.5. So would you rather go under the 24.5 or would you go under the 114.5?
And that's actually the market that I did bet myself, under his longest rushes. I think you're going to see this Chiefs team, try and take away the explosive more so than the death by 10,000 paper cuts that the Eagles are going to be more than willing to try and take. So if you look at Steve Spagnuolo in the past, he has been outstanding when it comes to suppressing 100-yard rushers. But Saquon Barkley is a little bit of a different beast. Now, he is working against history. We haven't seen a running back go for the number it would take to cash that prop since Dominic Rhodes back in 2006, and we haven't seen a player go for more than 125 rushing yards since Terrell Davis back in 1997. So I think Saquon over-under in terms of where it's being set in that low 1-teen range. I'd actually lean over, but won't have that on my card. Did, however, go under 24.5, the longest rush. I don't think Kansas City is going to take that boom or bust approach, and wouldn't be surprised at all if they played somewhat lighter boxes and tried to limit Barkley to 6-7 yards on some of the carries and force Philadelphia to move the ball methodically down the field before they kind of squeeze you like a boa constrictor once you get in that green zone.
Go get all the Super Bowl Bet the Board podcast, Bet the Board podcast. Great racing stuff all year long with the Bet the Board family there. To basketball, I am anxious, nervous by nature. Alabama at Arkansas seems to be a bad time to be going to Fayetteville to play. What do you think of the Tide and the Hogs?
Interesting game because all of a sudden it's much more fascinating than what we would have thought about this Arkansas team if we had this discussion last Friday. I think Arkansas right now, we've seen their odds shortened substantially just with winning 3 of their last 4 games against Georgia, Kentucky, and Texas, where they're right around plus 160 to be included in the field of 68. I make Alabama a short favorite here. If you adjust for current form, I think we're going to see Alabama open in that 2.5 range. No strong opinion because I don't like to buy stock at the top of the market on Arkansas. Utah. But this is a team, when you look at kind of their upcoming schedule, if they can get a win against Alabama and hold serve against LSU, suddenly we're looking at the Razorbacks through a very different lens than we would have been before they upset Kentucky at Rupp and did so in dominant fashion as nearly a double-digit dog.
Todd Golden has just said at his news conference that Walter Clayton Jr. is playing. I don't know if that affects the line I saw before you came on at mybookie.ag. They had Auburn an 8-point favorite over Florida.
And I think that's probably right where that number needs to be. When you kind of assess Auburn's full body of work, look, I keep waiting for this team to have a letdown, guys, and try and figure out spots where there's opportunity to go against them. And credit to Bruce Pearl and the way he's coached this team up. They've continued to cover after going through a little bit of a lull. I mean, exceeding odds makers' expectations against LSU, Mississippi, and what you would have thought could have been a flat spot against Oklahoma, they go blowing through that number, winning by nearly 30 points in that spot. So I think the number right where it should be in that 8 range. I do anticipate with Clayton, potentially being out there, if you believe Todd Golden, the number could tick down a little bit, and maybe we see it close in that 7.5, 7 range. But to kind of put things in perspective, guys, when you look at how the betting market assesses Alabama and Auburn right now, this may surprise some folks, but I have Auburn more than 5.5 points clear of Alabama at this point, and I think you kind of throw that second tier of SEC teams, your Floridas, your Tennessees, and Alabamas in the same bucket. I think Alabama maybe provides a tougher matchup for Auburn than the others, but Auburn kind of a cut above everybody else in their SEC bucket.
Let me correct myself. They are 9 at mybookie.ag. It was Duke that was 8. You talk about Alabama and Auburn. They play in Tuscaloosa next weekend. We've talked about on this show, if by chance Clemson upsets Duke, it could be number 1 versus number 2, assuming Alabama can win at Arkansas and Auburn can beat Florida. What kind of odds, Duke favored 8 on the road at Clemson, do you give that a happening?
In terms of Duke going down, look, I mean, I just don't think that Duke has been tested in the ACC. And while Clemson, you may get a little better effort than what we saw earlier this week, where they weren't able to hang on against Georgia Tech, losing that game as a big-time favorite. So there's a little bit of thought process there that you're kind of buying the dip in Clemson. And I think taking the 8 with the Tigers, especially at home, makes a world of sense in this spot. They can play a frustrating style. And look, I think all of us are trying to figure out how good this Duke team really is. The problem being is that the ACC all of us grew up on isn't quite the gauntlet right now than what it's been in the past. So you try and find that opportunity to fade the Blue Devils. This probably becomes it, because I don't see California, I don't see Stanford, I don't see even the trip going into Charlottesville against Virginia really providing tests. We might not get a good litmus test for where Duke is until they take on Illinois on a neutral in a couple of weeks, because the ACC just hasn't offered any level of resistance whatsoever.
All right, go. I was at Jack State last night, Fuhrman. I don't know if you had action on that game against Middle. But go check out Jerron Pierre. The dude hit 10 threes last night. Kid's a stud.
I mean, I saw some of the updates coming across throughout the course of the game, man. What Pierre have? 25 at the break before he finished with north of 30 in that game?
Yeah. I think he had 25 at the break and finished with 36. 10 threes. I mean, that's insane.
I mean, pretty impressive. He hits 10 threes in a game. Dunaway hits 10 bets all football season. So you try and tell me which is the bigger achievement.
You obviously can't see the monitor because I'm flipping you double birds right now.
Both of them.
This is an all ages show on a Friday morning here, Dunaway. You have to try and restrain yourself a little bit from trying to create those negative adult-like gestures.
Fuhrman, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Always a pleasure, guys. Best of luck with all your wagers this weekend, and we should all have a celebratory cocktail knowing it's the final football game we'll get for 7+ months.
Oh, man, don't say that. Thank you, Fuhrman. Be good. That is Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, and at Todd Fuhrman on social media. He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You guys showed out up there at Huntsville. Thank you for going to Von Braun Civic Center and supporting Johnston RV Center at the big RV show up there. You could do the same thing at Birmingham at the BJCC. That is coming up starting on Valentine's Day, the 14th through the 16th of February at the BJCC. Now, listen, any of the show deals they've got right now, you could take advantage of at the 2 locations. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Like payments starting at just $129 a month with approved credit. They got a great selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes. But go see the boys and ladies from Johnston RV Center the 14th through 16th at the BJCC, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com.
Interesting what he is saying about the props and all of them. Why do you think there are so many every year? It becomes more and more of the props. Some of them are just
because the
sit
more
or silly.
it's a volume thing. The more props you bet, the more you have to lose. So if you get a guy that plays 20 props out in Vegas, he's probably gonna lose more than he's gonna win.
So did I hear him right that they may actually have more bet on the Barkley prop than on the actual game?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, and you can get plus 300 for Barkley to score more than a touchdown. So if he scores 2 touchdowns or more, you're getting 3 times your money back. Now, you would have to have a really good lean that he's going to have a good game, that the Eagles are going to have a good game.
It's a lot to ask, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, these odds, usually Vegas and everyone betting one way usually makes you go a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm contrarian, by nature. But the Dallas Goddard is interesting because everybody is playing the over 4.5 receptions.
Yeah,
but
that doesn't. It could be 4.5, 5 receptions for 7 yards. I'm not saying he's gonna have a good game.
No. I'm saying that, but that's one of those. It's difficult to go under. It's one of those that I would, because it seems so obvious. I probably would stay away from it.
Yeah, and like the Butker made field goals just seems like.
So how many was that? A field goal and a half?
Yeah, just make 2 of them.
That does feel easy.
Yeah,
it's in the dome. He's the best kicker in the game.
Of course,
right
if they have 5 good drives and they're all ending in touchdowns,
well, you feel bad at that point.
Then at that point, he's got 5 extra points and 0 field goals.
But he's only got to make 2 field goals. I mean, you almost. God, I don't know the percentage of time a half ends on a field goal. Well, I mean, what percentage of the time do you think a half ends on a field goal? That almost feels like a 50-50 proposition that the half is going to end on a field goal. So then you've got 25% that it's going to be them, right? Yep. Overall, that it would be Butker. The thing I would say is, you were talking about this earlier, I feel like the NFL, boy, I hate to say it right before the Super Bowl, but I feel like they've eliminated crappy Super Bowls. We all grew up in an era of crappy
terrible
Super Bowls.
Yep.
The NFC was so much better than the AFC, and it was a blowout every year.
But everybody's a conspiracy theorist now. When you say the NFL's eliminated that,
I'm just
you're saying because of the salary cap.
That is correct. Yeah,
evened out the talent,
the parity in the league. Yeah. I mean, just
not some. They manipulate the game to make it close.
Just listen to me here. Going back to Denver and Carolina, the game you were like, "Oh, that's going to be a good game." It's 24-10. Boring game. Since then, you've had the Patriots come back from 28-3. Sorry, Scott, to win in overtime, 34-28.
First ever overtime Super Bowl.
That's right, and you cannot say that wasn't a good game. I mean, that had all the drama you could want. Eagles-Patriots the next year was a fantastic game, 41-33. Patriots-Rams was a terrible game to watch at 13-3, but it was a closer game than that score indicates.
Yeah, it was 1 possession at half.
Yeah, but it was an awful game.
Yeah, I know it was.
It was an awful game. Chiefs-49ers, 31-20. I know 11 is a lot. Now, the COVID year, your Buccaneers won 31-9.
Why'd you have to say COVID year?
Because it was the COVID year.
Yeah, but I think
but it was a stadium with like 20,000 nurses.
But I think Chiefs-Niners, were the Chiefs not trailing in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, they came back in that game. Yeah,
that's exciting.
Well, that was another one where you remember it started to be the criticism of Shanahan that he can't close out a big game.
And I just hate to say this, Brown, when you throw shade on the Bucs COVID year championship, look at the work we did for America that year to beat the Chiefs. Where would we be right now with these freaking
That's
Chiefs?
a great point.
You're still asking for somebody to do what the Bucs did that year, and that's beat the Chiefs.
There wasn't the fatigue back then.
Yeah, we did America's work that day.
Mahomes had 1 championship at that point.
Rams-Bengals, excellent game, 23-20 out at SoFi. Chiefs-Eagles 2 years ago, an excellent game, 38-35. And then Chiefs-Niners went overtime last year, 25-22. I mean, we've had a run of really, really good Super Bowls.
Yeah, and we'll get the youngest, or I should say least experienced refereeing crew in this Super Bowl.
They've dug deep to find somebody that doesn't favor the Chiefs.
Well, I wonder.
That's all they've talked about this week.
I wonder what they've done here. But Ron Torbert has done 1 Super Bowl before this. A guy named Boris Cheeks, I think that's his name, unless I'm being spoofed at a local city council. Boris Cheeks?
Boris Cheeks is like a guy that somebody could get to affect the outcome of the game.
I wrote it down. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I think Boris Cheeks, this is his 4th Super Bowl. And then everyone else on this crew is in their first Super Bowl. And the guy from Fox, the analyst, Pereira says this is the most he doesn't understand this selection of this officiating crew. It's so out of the norm by the NFL. So if things are going Chiefs' way, this will be a big conspiracy theory. Or if it's going heavy Eagles and not Chiefs' way, it'll be a big conspiracy theory that they brought all these newbies in to not be in favor of the Chiefs. But You got a head referee who's done one other Super Bowl, and then this Boris Cheeks guy this is his 4th Super Bowl, and everyone else is making their Super Bowl debut.
All right, Boris Cheek, it is singular, not plural. Boris Cheek he has officiated more NFL games than anybody in history.
He's a side judge.
More NFL. I just read this.
I don't think I've ever heard of him.
I've never heard of him either, but more NFL games than anybody in history. He's been doing this since 96.
Okay. Name greatest side judge in NFL history. I mean, you don't know who the side judges are.
If I'd said Boris Cheek, you'd be like, you're making that name up.
Yeah,
right?
that name would jump, though, at least.
Yeah. All right, Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. One more thing to get to in this segment after I tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That is Greg from Pell City. Locally owned. Is it 1 decade, Tyler? No, you're right. It is over 2 decades locally owned. I saw those 2 fingers go up. Greg from Pell City makes you feel great about your roof because he'll come out and give you a free, no-cost roof inspection. Absolutely free, no obligation. Call him up on his cell phone, 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Check him out there. Roof replacements, storm damage repair, everything to do with your roof. And a little warning now, your insurance. A lot of providers have changed the way they cover roof replacements and roof damage because of the age of your roof. If you've got a roof 5 years, 6 years, or older, you may want to check out that policy. And Greg has some inside information. He'll help you walk through the process when he comes out and gives you that free, no-cost, no-obligation roof inspection. So if you want him to explain to you what's going on in the insurance industry, call him up, 205-542-3531. It's like a free insurance checkup as well, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. All right, so the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. I mentioned the Kelsey record. How about this? Jalen Hurts, if he scores 2 rushing touchdowns this weekend, he ties with 1. If he gets pushed into the end zone twice this weekend.
Most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in Super Bowl history?
Most rushing touchdowns in Super Bowl history.
Period. Not by a quarterback,
period.
but period.
Not by a quarterback, period.
Wow.
How does Emmitt Smith not have this?
He will pass Emmitt Smith.
Okay, or Thurman Thomas even in losses.
It is Emmitt Smith right now, and if he gets 1, he ties him. At 2, he'll pass Emmitt Smith. So we got a chance this weekend to wipe Emmitt Smith and Jerry Rice off the record books at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I heard an interview with Emmitt Smith this morning, and still just such a respected guy. And, didn't even when you watch Saquon's so much more exciting than Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith was just a snowplow.
Steady.
Yep.
Eddie. Back to what he talked about, one-possession games. The 58 Super Bowls we've had, how many do you think have been one-possession games?
So that means it comes down.
I just went through and did this.
Is that 8 to 0, 8 points or less? Do we
count
that?
8 points or less.
Okay. Technically, for years, 8 points was not a one-possession game, but we'll do it.
But it really, the first 8 I came across was in the 2-point.
Okay, 2-point era?
Yeah.
I would say of 58, but we had some bad Super Bowls for years. I would say of the 58, 23 have been one-possession games.
I was going to say 18.
23's dead on.
Is that really?
Yeah.
How about that?
35 double-digit games or 9+ points, and then 23 have been one-possession games. And really, it is the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't live through the 80s like us, you can't appreciate the Super Bowls that we have recently had.
And it's so strange that you got those. And I understand that, you had an imbalance of conference. You've kind of got that right now, though, with the AFC.
You do, but for some reason, you don't get the same reaction that we got in the 80s when the NFC would just run the AFC right off the field every single time.
But the one that used to, back before we had good Super Bowls, that would always get brought up was a Steelers-Cowboys game, I believe at the Orange Bowl. And the tight end guy dropped the pass.
Jackie Smith. Was that his name? Jackie Smith, I think?
I don't know if that was his name.
Yeah, Jackie Smith was the tight end. The Cowboys guy that had the game-winning touchdown. He's sliding and he drops it, right?
I don't even know if that was a game-winning touchdown.
Well, it gets played up like it was.
Maybe it was a game-tying touchdown. But I remember that game, and they always played it up, but the Steelers jumped out. If I remember correctly, that was a big Steelers lead, and the Cowboys had to fight back just to get to that moment. Even that was heading to a blowout, and that was sort of heralded for a long, long time until they had the drive, and the 49ers-Bengals is one of the best Super Bowls ever. And then for most of our life until recently, the drive by Montana to beat the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe was in Tampa. I'm not sure.
I thought that was in Miami.
Maybe it was in Miami,
Not
too.
nearly as impressive as the Stafford-Cooper Cup drive.
No, I mean,
it really wasn't.
Anything we've got now has been better than those two Super Bowls, and they were heralded as great Super Bowls back then.
You'll give me that, though, right, Brown?
I mean, I've not
sat
and
the
watched.
John Taylor over the middle was like a 30-yard. I mean, Odell was out. There was no chance. Tyler Higbee was out. There was no chance you were doing anything except going to Cooper Cup.
I need to go break them down play to play and see which one was better.
Jerry Rice was a nice decoy on that drive.
Okay, I'll come off, and we'll give Lance a little prop here. He always he talks Rams a lot. It pops up during the NFL season. It seems like daily. It's not daily. But I will give Lance his props before we go to my bookie, Brownie. It does seem like the NFL world is revolving around Sean McVay these days, because Kevin O'Connell, really good McVay tree at Minnesota. Liam Cohen, who was my Buccaneers OC, did a great job. Now the head coach of the Jaguars. Yesterday, he hired a 29-year-old offensive coordinator in Grant Udinski, who comes from O'Connell, who was sort of just basically an errand boy with McVay with the Rams, and went with O'Connell and became a offensive assistant and assistant to the OC there in the Vikings. And now he's the freaking Jaguars offensive coordinator at 29. It does seem like more and more and more.
McVay has publicly said
McVay.
that I've got nothing to do with Liam Cohen. I mean, he's not attached to my team. He hadn't said that. He should.
Yeah.
He should, because that's going to be a disaster.
Well, I'm just saying that it does seem like more and more. I know you.
No, but I mean,
know
you
we
look
kill
at
you sometimes for always bringing up the Rams, but it does seem like Sean McVay's coaching tree, even at a young age for him, is deep rooted in a lot of the NFL.
Still the third youngest coach in the NFL, but yeah, Kevin O'Connell. You look at Matt LaFleur. You look at Zach Taylor. I mean, you know, there are a ton of coaches that have been right there with McVay that have actually coached under him. Now Liam Cohen, and I think a lot of Kevin O'Connell. You know, LaFleur was one thing with Green Bay. You kind of saw it with Aaron Rodgers, but then with Jordan Love, and now with what you're seeing with Kevin O'Connell, it does seem like this is kind of a real thing now.
O'Connell has been hinting he wants Sam Darnold back in Minnesota for another year. It'll be interesting to see if that's what happens.
You know, that tells me that what he's seen from J.J. McCarthy ain't great.
Good, yeah.
Well, I don't know how much he saw before he got hurt. I mean, that was pretty quick. All right, mybookie.ag, play all those Super Bowl props right there.
Here you go. Here's some Super Bowl props for you. Under 3.5 tush pushes. Under or over? Which one would you take?
I would go over.
I would take the over.
I think I would too.
Yeah, it's a horrible play. Should be outlawed.
The tush push?
Yes.
Dunaway, Taylor Swift props. We got Taylor Swift props.
It doesn't really interest me.
I thought you were a Swiftie.
I am, but you know, I like her music. I like her concerts. I like her lyrics. I mean, the cutaways of her in the press box does about as much for me as a Jerry Jones cutaway.
Well, which will happen first? She'll be shown live during the broadcast, or either team scores a touchdown?
I think it'll be either team scores a touchdown.
Sure, being shown live in the broadcast is actually the favorite in that one.
Yeah, I would bet the touchdown first. I think it's a Super Bowl. They don't have to prop up ratings. I think they will. Now, actual game, they may show a pregame at some point walking in or something, but actual game, it'll be a touchdown before they show her in the booth.
So who gets shown more though, Taylor Swift or
President Trump? I don't see a President Trump prop on here. That would be interesting though.
Are there odds on a proposal at the end of the game?
There is an odds. It's not specific to Kelsey and Swift. By the way, there's no chance in hell he'll propose on the field or anywhere this weekend.
Right, because he's not about himself at all.
Well, I'm just saying he would not do that. I mean, I would say no if I was Taylor in that situation.
Just because it's so obvious?
Yeah, I mean, don't upstage, our big moment right here with confetti falling.
He would never.
Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift on the field after Super Bowl 59? No is a -900 favorite.
Yeah, I think
yes
it's no
is a +400
because I still don't think they're going to be together forever.
Yeah, but I would bet 900 to just win 100. That's almost an easy way to make $100.
Have fun with that.
That's how they suck you in, Jimmy D. Slam it, Tyler.
I think it's hammer it.
All those props right there at mybookie.ag, including the game where Kansas City's a -1 favorite, and a total of 49 right now. You can play that at the sportsbook area, mybookie.ag. Code next round of the sportsbook. And that 50% bonus is yours up to $1,000 when you use code next round. Code next round. Now, many of you said, like, hey, I appreciate code next round, but I like the casino and the live casino. All right. TNR Casino is your code when you log in there. 300% casino bonus up to $2,000 when you first join there at mybookie.ag. So casino bonus, 300% up to $2,000. Use the code TNR Casino. A sportsbook bonus, 50% on your initial deposit up to $1,000 when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. mybookie.ag, code next round, and code TNR Casino.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Roback. Go to roback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
You are.
What? Can you say it on the air?
Yeah,
say it.
I'm probably gonna, for the first time in 11 years, cancel my gym subscription.
Congrats.
Because LT coached me up on this dumbbell workout. that I don't know if you guys can tell is really starting to put muscle on me.
I mean, they long live is popping, that tattoo. No, Dunaway came to me and he's like, these machines at the place I'm working out, what do you know? I was like, man, you just need to go dumbbells. And I was like, honestly, I'm probably giving too much information. I was like, 20-pound dumbbells are going to be perfect for you.
That's a great place to start.
Use some 20s.
Yeah, I'm going to work up to 30s.
So what do you do with them? What do you press them?
I do press, curls.
Truthfully, I start off with a little hammer. Do a little hammer action.
Truthfully, it holds my garage open, my door.
Then I do curls.
Yes. All right.
Is this for getting Sarah Marshall?
Yes, it's all hammers.
Yeah.
Then I do curls.
That's right.
Then I lean back and I do this.
You do some presses.
Yeah,
okay.
I do that.
Uh-huh.
And then I do I do this.
Right.
I don't know if I'm supposed to do this.
Do you do the cross press?
I do them both at the same time.
Yeah, he does a double
together.
No, I told him though. Like,
I knew I was off camera. I was trying to set you up.
Sounds very Herschel Walker, but you can do enough just with your own body weight, with push-ups and with core exercises to completely stay in shape. But then he told me, basically with Bill Murray and Stripes, how many push-ups can you do?
Good ones, like
legit.
That if I was at
legit.
Paris Island,
That actually counted.
Yeah, three
in a row, or just like
I could do 3 in a row.
I think Bill Murray busted that in Stripes.
Yeah. I haven't tried push-ups again yet, but the last time I tried to do legitimate ones, my butt not too high in the air and actually going down low and doing it properly, I got 3.
You blew a rib.
And you know how many pull-ups I got?
0.
0.
Yeah.
I made it about quarter of the way up. Of course, I was pulling up 204 pounds last time I tried to do that. Be easier to pull up 179, I assume. Our friends
all
at
core strength, though. It's got nothing to do with your arms.
Yeah, I thought last night,
wow,
Tyler.
I did not know that. You just blew my mind.
No, I thought last night Red Panda has got to have exceptional core strength. Don't you think?
Oh, just for that balance.
Yeah. And when she's balancing those bowls on her legs, got so quick of that video.
Because, sometimes I like to do my curls while sitting on a medicine ball.
Right, and when she's balancing those bowls on her leg, of course you do, Jeff, that's going to be core strength, but then she's keeping that unicycle steady with just that left foot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be some
If you
great
want to
core
work on
strength.
the core, wall ball. Get you a medicine ball. I know you probably got one.
I hit it down and I throw it high on the wall.
Yeah. Catch that thing.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, that's before my Pop-Tart in the morning. I do that. Show being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Get a good workout in and then go get a good massage, right?
Hey, look, that is one of the things you can tell your wife or girlfriend. Look, I'm going to be wagering on the Super Bowl when I win. I'm going to throw back. I'm going to give back to you with a little gift card from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Take care of that significant other. The best day spa out there, located at the Summit Shopping Center. She can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or get in, see Stewart and the great staff up at the Summit Shopping Centers and tell them the next round sent you.
I mean, you guys can laugh all you want in the chat room. Go ahead. But if you're down at the music festival with our buddy Todd Coder, we're down at Miramar Beach this summer at some point.
Well, he reached out to me about a show, and he's like, Dunaway was supposed to invite you a couple of weeks ago.
He told me not to invite you because you wouldn't hate that. You wouldn't like that artist.
Oh, I'm not going. And I told him I appreciate the invite.
He says, invite Brown. Don't bother with LT that you wouldn't like the artist.
I will tell you what he said to me last night.
Is that the one we're going to Sunday night with our wives?
A week from Sunday night.
I told him, typical Dunaway.
Oh, come on. There's no way you wanted to go see this artist. He even said it.
He said Dunaway and Brown are taking their wives to see Ellie Holcomb at the Alabama Theater.
Yeah, Drew and Ellie Holcomb.
Would love if you and Maddie are interested in coming. Dunaway was supposed to extend the invitation, but just in case he didn't, let me know.
Todd Coder, if you're watching right now, you better fess up, man.
I said, not shocking. He did not, but not shocking. No, don't know if we can make it, but I do want to sit down and talk about Miramar, which is, by the way, coming up.
That's where Dunaway
and he said, damn it, Dunaway.
Todd Coder, you better come clean here, man.
That's where Dunaway was getting around to tell you, when we're at Miramar, he's got to go shirtless the whole weekend. That's what you're about to say.
No, I was going to say that when we're out on the beach and I'm kicking some sand and you chat room Wimps' face over there because I'm all cut up.
Yeah.
Then y'all laugh then.
All cut up.
Yeah. It'll be good.
I can't tell you one song Drew and Ellie Holcomb sing, Lance.
Wait, so why are you going?
Well, because my wife wants to go.
Oh, she's a fan. I got you.
Yeah. She's a fan. And the one thing I have learned is In almost 25 years of marriage, if your wife wants to go to a concert, you go to that concert.
Yeah. I actually invited Jen Brown to go before I did Ryan.
Actually, he did.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, Dunaway just reached out, and so you know their music.
I drew Holcomb first. Ellie sings a lot of religious songs, but them together, it's very folksy, slow.
Husband, wife.
Yeah.
The Neighborhood, Drew, Ellie Holcomb in the Neighborhood, isn't that their band?
It is Drew Holcomb in the Neighborhood.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The one T-shirt I wear occasionally with the red pickup truck.
Yeah, I've seen you
that's
wear
a
it.
Drew Holcomb. Yeah. It's when Jim's had 2 full-time jobs and he bought that where the president would sit if he was at a concert at the Lyric. Up on the side
where
of the stage.
where Lincoln got his wig split.
I bought those 2 tickets at one time for Maggie and me.
It was for them.
Did she show up?
She went with me too.
Okay. When you walked in, did they hit the spotlight and y'all stood and waved?
She did not. She doesn't like their music, but she's going again anyway.
It feels like
this will work out perfect. She won't like the concert. You won't like the dinner. Y'all can bitch at each other on the way home.
We'll let Brown and her sit next to each other. Me and Jen will sit and enjoy the music.
It feels like when you sit in those seats, you're so exposed. Like everybody can see you.
It does when everybody's watching.
Yeah. I've never sat in them. I don't have the money you've got.
Yeah,
but
you do actually.
Because I don't sit in seats like that.
Because you don't sit in seats like that. Yeah. You don't drive to play golf on one side of the state and then drive cross state to an Auburn basketball game the same night and then home.
Hey, those are great venues that we just don't use enough, do we?
The Lyric?
The Lyric and the Alabama Theater.
Yeah. I can't tell you the last time I've been to the Alabama Theater.
I mean, I went and saw Elf on one of these holiday
I think that was the last time I did was a Christmas movie. I can't remember the last concert I've seen there.
That may have been the last time I was there.
I told you guys it was the last time. I know, Tyler does this all the time. Went to see another movie last night. What was it called?
It was called Heart Eyes. It's a Valentine's Day.
Heart Eyes.
Heart Eyes.
Oh, I thought you said hard with a D.
Me too. Yeah.
Tyler, I think you could stay at home at night and see that one.
Was it a hard watch?
Yes.
It was. It's a Valentine's Day themed slasher movie.
Okay.
And it might be one of the worst movies I've
Well, you
ever
went to see
seen.
The Brutalist, and it had the intermission. And the only time I've ever seen a film with an intermission was at the Alabama Theater back in I want to say it was the early 80s.
And that was Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind, yeah.
I've been going with the intermission.
Absolutely. You knew how that one ended.
Yeah.
Our friends at Slice brings us 4 downs every day. Slice, great place for lunch and dinner. We were talking with some folks yesterday at a business meeting about how much they love Slice.
It is just a fantastic place to go. Stop in for lunch or dinner. There are 5 locations to serve you. The original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. To view the entire menu, go online. Go to slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
James Spader, 65 today. Shedeur Sanders, 23. Ultimately better career. James Spader or Shedeur Sanders?
I will say Shedeur Sanders. He's going to be an NFL quarterback. He's going to be drafted high enough that he'll start at least. And James Spader has a nice career, but an NFL quarterback is more visible than James Spader. A starting NFL quarterback.
James Spader got his start on Saturday Night Live?
No.
Okay, I don't know who James Spader is.
He was Pretty in Pink, 80s movies, kind of the villain, Lesson Zero, worked his way up, was in that very, very overrated show. What was it called? Black Hat or something?
I know who it is. He was Blacklist.
Blacklist.
Yeah.
Blacklist.
Yeah.
And then he was also the Robert California character on The Office.
That's true. He's done more than...
He's had a really, really good career. And here's what I would say. If Shedeur Sanders ends up being a frontline starter for 5 to 8 years, Shedeur, hands down.
Yeah.
But if Shedeur ends up being, Jake Locker...
Yeah. I got a feeling, and listen, there's no reason for us to try to predict which quarterbacks work in the NFL because the NFL can't even get it right, so why would we? I got a feeling Shedeur is going to be a good NFL quarterback, though. Now, it's all about plays.
Well, I know he's tough. I know he's accurate.
Yep.
And he's got intangibles, man.
Here's the thing about Shedeur Sanders as an NFL quarterback. And this sounds stupid to say, but if you've watched, I think this is accurate. He'll see less pressure in the pocket of an NFL game than he ever saw in college.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy to consider. Like most college guys, you worry about he was on such a good team. When was he ever having to throw under pressure? Shedeur was doing it all the time.
Yep.
He'll have the best protection he's ever had as a high-level quarterback when he gets to the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go Shedeur as well because I think he is the closest thing, style-wise, to Patrick Mahomes that we have, and I think he looks more like Patrick Mahomes looks in the NFL than Patrick Mahomes looked like when he came to the NFL, if that makes sense.
I lean that Shedeur is going to be really good. I don't feel like last year Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. I think those are no-brainer guys. I'm more on the Drake May. I feel like it's going to work, but we'll see.
Jay says Spader also has a few scenes with the sad turtle Maggie Gyllenhaal. I don't know what movie that would be.
Oh yeah, that's where she's the office assistant, and it's a really little weird movie, and he spanks her on his desk. He was in that movie too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's quite a turn.
You don't know the name of the movie?
Nope.
Did you see it?
But he knows that scene.
Yeah, I mean, it used to come on, I think it was Showtime after
Do you have a
dark all the
keyword
time.
you put in that's just like creepy? Creepy with no violence.
I think it's K for kinky.
Creepy with no violence. Would like to laugh. Love storyline.
No jump scares.
I want to be aroused, but I don't want to be scared.
Boobs, no jump scare.
What movie was I watching that Jake Gyllenhaal was in, and somebody told me that the other guy in it was Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband? I guess the easier way to ask that question, who's Maggie Gyllenhaal?
No, it was a presumed innocent.
Presumed innocent, that's right.
Yeah.
And the husband was the
Peter
other.
Skarsgård.
He was the prosecuting attorney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a really, really good
Yeah,
actor.
he's very good at that.
The movie
He's
they're talking
just-
about in the chat, the office guy is sort of creepy.
The secretary is what people are saying. Is that right? The secretary?
It would be a great name because it's
Yeah.
all about the lady who's
Okay.
the secretary.
So the Skarsgård in The Killing season 3 is incredible.
Boy, he's really good in Presumed Innocent.
Killing's such an underrated show.
You
Ever seen
hate,
it?
you hate him
I
from
have
you hate him from the beginning in Presumed Innocent.
Yeah.
You hate him from the beginning. Like to me, that's such a good actor that can make you hate him right away.
You hate him in The Killing.
Yeah, do you really? So is that all
But
he ever
man,
plays?
it takes some crazy turns. I mean, The Killing. So it's season 1 and season 2 are the same plot line.
Yeah,
and that frustrated a lot of people. But then season 3 has got Skarsgård in it. He's on death row. It's fascinating.
So you're saying I'm a good actor?
Second down.
Happy birthday to the best quarterback in Rams history. Matthew Stafford is 37 years old today. Steve Nash, 51. I already know the answer, but I'll ask you guys, better career, Steve Nash or Matthew Stafford?
I would go Stafford.
I'll go with the American, Matt Stafford.
Oh, wow.
No Canadian?
Going against America's hat, Canada? I would say Stafford is going to be a Hall of Famer. I know Nash has got to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a back-to-back MVP winner.
Yeah.
I thought those Mike D'Antoni offenses were incredible, and they just couldn't get over the hump once they got deep in the playoffs.
I always felt like the Steve Nash MVP votes were anti-somebody else votes. Who was big then? Was it Kobe?
Man.
Was it Shaq?
I mean, Kobe was in the mix those years, but man, Nash was so freaking good back then.
Throwing assist. I mean,
he was a scorer too.
He scored some too.
I mean, his handle was silly. I mean,
Third
Nash was
down.
a great point guard.
I'll go Stafford because it's football.
So Garth Brooks, 63 years old today.
Stop.
Better career, Garth Brooks or Brooks running shoes?
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
See, Brooks, the actual running shoe?
Yeah, those are good shoes.
Yeah,
but
I didn't know if it was a Native American.
No, I think there's a
Brooks running shoe.
It's
Who did he play for?
It's funny in a good way. Like long, runners are kind of cultish.
They are,
and so they'll land on a shoe, and boy, they will stick with that shoe. But I think for big time runners, I've never had a pair personally, but there's a lot of people that like Brooks.
So, I think they've moved on past Brooks. I think
Have they?
I think there's more runners that like Brooks than country music fans that like Garth Brooks.
Percentage-wise, probably.
Well, you got fewer shoe brands. That's
I don't think we do anymore, and I do think
fewer than country music singers.
Help
is
me
what I'm
out,
saying.
runners out there, if we have any watching the show. I think Brooks obviously was huge in the 80s and 90s.
They went bankrupt, I think, in the 80s.
They're
and 90s.
still big. Brooks are still big. So I would say running shoe power rankings is New Balance at the top.
We're going to say it because they're a client. I think they are close.
sponsor, yeah.
No, but I think they are. Hoka has come on strong.
On Cloud is big now.
I don't know
how
so
many
much for
people-
running. I think that's more of a leisure.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
if people
every,
run
I think that's
every
people that
white
work-
dude, 35 to 55.
Yeah.
Country club guy has got a pair of on clouds.
And so did women.
Every serious runner I see has got a pair of the Brooks.
Okay. Look at that.
Or the Hoka, though. The Hoka has made a
Hoka's
big move.
And then you got Saucony. I mean, it's still hanging in there, right? They're still in business.
Yeah.
Asics.
Asics, Nike.
I am going to say that I would rather have, if I could have the catalog of Garth Brooks songs or everything in the world that is Brooks related, I would take Garth Brooks.
I would take Garth Brooks too, even though
I think I would too.
Even though he's very strict on where he. I don't know why, but he is very strict on where he lets his music be played. I'd be like, sure, dude, you can play my music as long as I get some money.
It's playing at a Turkish bathhouse for all I care.
On demand. It's only Amazon Prime. He's got an exclusive deal, I think, with Amazon Prime Music that is on demand. And you cannot play it on Spotify, Apple, anywhere like that on demand.
Well, I don't know if it's the Chinese, but me searching best running shoe, it keeps opening and closing over here.
4th down.
This one might be too easy, but I'm going to go on and throw it out there because I had a hard time coming up with the other side of this. But Chris Rock is actually 60 today.
Well, that's hard to believe.
It is. Ultimately, better career, Chris Rock or The Rock?
I would go The Rock because...
Boy, it's changed a lot, though, hasn't it?
It has, but if you think about The Rock, he established his Melton yelling already about The Rock.
No, Melton's pretty calm back there.
Okay, well, you were looking back at him. I thought he was...
I was expecing him to turn my mic
I mean,
on,
The Rock for a minute was the best wrestler or the most known wrestler, right? I mean, his no,
give me my mic.
Yeah, look, and I'm not going to pretend to know this. I've seen one documentary, but his chirp game seemed to be as good or better than everyone's.
Yes. He laid the smack down both on the microphone and in the ring, and he's still active. He still pops in every time from now.
Well, but the problem is his movies suck.
Yeah,
like I
that's why
can't.
I'm going Chris Rock.
Just help me out with one, and not that Chris Rock's movies are good.
I mean, have you seen some of his?
New Jack City was probably the coup de grace. But you guys help me out. Has there ever been a good Rock movie?
There's going to be one this year where he's working with one of the Safdie brothers.
Oh, yeah, I did see that because he's an MMA fighter, right?
Yes, and it's going to be very good.
Right now, I'd say it's Walking Tall with Johnny Knoxville.
Never saw it.
Better than the one where you guys saw it over Christmas where somebody kidnapped Santa?
Oh, that was
wasn't a good Rock movie?
That was
That's the worst movie I've seen this year.
Oh, I forgot you watched it.
Yep.
So just put a real cap on the running.
I had to take a
quick.
second edible during that one. Had to. I don't want to remember tonight, and I still remember it was shit.
Just hats off to LT. The best running shoe out there is for 2025, according to Running World, is the Brooks Ghost 16.
Oh wow! Now is the best country music artist according to anybody right now, Garth Brooks.
No,
but I'm going Garth Brooks.
But maybe I mean he's among the most successful.
Back to your point though. Are you arguing for The Rock or Chris Rock?
Well, The Rock, because Melton, I have been told before that nobody ever put it all together in wrestling better than The Rock. Like the entertainment, selling that he was actually knows what he was doing, everything that you have to do, that nobody ever put it together better than The Rock.
He became the biggest movie star in the world, and he did it based off of going from wrestling, professional wrestling, which was laughed at by millions and millions of people, and he ended up becoming the hottest commodity in all of Hollywood. And has he fallen off of that mountaintop? Absolutely. But
I don't know how you can say he's the hottest commodity. You sit here, and Ryan Gosling is a talented dude, and you talk about he can't carry a movie.
Ryan Gosling can't sell tickets, Lance, for the 15,000th time.
The Rock sells tickets?
Absolutely.
This is another example of the lowest common denominator in our world.
You watch
people
the
that will
movie.
actually go. I know, and I told you there were a couple of reasons. It was holiday. There were people around. Trust me, it was torture. But to get up, get in my car, drive to a theater, and pay for a ticket to see anything The Rock in?
I know, but my point is you would not have known about Red One if The Rock weren't in it.
No, but my whole point is, like, I understand he's got a little cachet in Hollywood, but he's never done anything good, ever.
No, he just says yes to everything he's offered, and he's never really offered anything good.
Yeah.
Maybe the Benny Safdie movies will be good.
But I really don't trust the Safdies, to be honest with you, because I tell you, one of the most overrated films ever was, and then they did a horrible job with the gambling aspect for the Adam Sandler.
Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Was that 4?
That was 4.
That's 4 downs. Brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 locations for Slice for lunch or dinner. Get in, get a slice and a salad today. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home this weekend. Take the entire family down to Slice. Excellent local food, local pizza, local ingredients to view the entire menu from the soul pie to the hot mama. Go online, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at the Golfist Brownie.
That is Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators right there at the Golfist. It is always 70 degrees at the Golfist. It is never raining. The wind is never blowing. You can always go play golf at the Golfist. 2 great locations, Highway 31 in Vestavia, Van Road just off Highway 11, and Trussville is where you find them. It's all the courses you've loved over the years, the courses you've seen on TV. You've always wanted to play, go play them at the Golfist. Also a great place for couple showers, guys partying, family night out, wherever you want to go. You want to go to the Golfist, and you bring your own clubs, you bring your own food, you bring your own drink, and you enjoy the great simulators and the TVs with the games on right there at the Golfist. Get out of the office and get into the Golfist. See more, thegolfist.com, thegolfist.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show today. A lot to get to. Always brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. I've called it for years, since day one of the show, a destination lunch location. That's because if you're looking for a place that you bring people in town to go a good Southern fried meal, you want just Southern food, nothing better than Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Sterling brines that chicken overnight, cooks it hot to order. It's never under a lamp. Comes out piping hot. All the great Southern sides. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, which are the best way to cook tamales, and so much more. Great bar menu, everything. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Perfect for your Super Bowl viewing coming up over the weekend as well. Listen, I do not by any means tell you to stay home on a Friday night. If you're young, go out and enjoy your life on a Friday night. If you happen to be by a television tonight, 7 o'clock on Main Fox. And I know Brown forgets sometimes that games are on Main Fox. St. John's at UConn tonight.
Ooh.
St. John's at UConn tonight. Rick Pitino and Dan Hurley. Two guys that believe they're the best coaches of all time, I believe.
I was going to ask you this. It's funny you say that.
But Pitino, not even close.
No.
Okay.
That was not my question. I think we would all agree the best coach of our lifetime is Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, I think you would have to say that.
Yeah. Rick Pitino's in the conversation.
Well, I was going to ask, is he number 2?
Yeah. Well, I think he would be on our Mount Rushmore, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, Dean Smith was in our lifetime, so it's kind of hard to ignore him. Though,
but you know, Dean only had 2 national championships.
That's exactly right.
Patino's got 2, right? Or is it 3?
I was about to say that.
Well, I think Patino's got 2, but it's 2 different locations.
Kentucky and one at Kentucky and one at Louisville.
He only got 1, not 2 at Kentucky?
He only had the one at Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, because Tubby got 1 when he left.
And then Calipari got 1. So apparently, if you coach Kentucky,
boy,
at least
I wanted to play St. John's in this spot. St. John's defense, if you haven't watched them play, is outstanding.
But to show you how out of whack and how hard it is to do well in college basketball, the bracketology, the one I saw yesterday, which I think was from Fox, the Alabama bracket, where Alabama had the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Remember, you get that easy first game. What do you get in the second game?
You get an 8-9.
You get 8-9. What was the 8-9?
UConn was the 8.
UConn was an 8?
Yeah, and that's where they
where are they in the net?
They'll move up, obviously, but they were the 8 in this Fox bracket I saw.
They're 31 in the net.
Yeah, but I do think like a win tonight, and they're a 3.5-point home favorite over St. John's. And you look at St. John's metrics, I know defensively they've got to be in the top 5.
St. John's is 23 in the net, but yeah, where they really shine in the Ken Palm is on defense, as you might imagine with Pitino, where they are 4th in their defensive efficiency.
I don't.
Tennessee won. Tennessee won. Duke 2. Houston 3, St. John's 4. That's the neighborhood.
I don't know how you guys feel about the Big East this year. Creighton's good. They're not great.
Winners of 8 straight, though.
But you look at St. John's, you look at Marquette, you look at UConn, and St. John's is the only team in the Big East that has not lost in 2025.
That's right. They really hadn't played anybody good until they just beat Marquette this week, and now they get a chance at UConn tonight.
But again, I had Marquette -7. They rolled into Milwaukee and beat them by double digits.
And they're trying to go into stores tonight to beat UConn.
I am being told that I should have gone Roy Williams number 2. Why do I feel like if it were strictly X's versus O's, Pitino would coach circles around
Roy Williams didn't have one at Kansas, played for one. We remember Bonnie Bernstein.
That's right.
After the Syracuse lost. And then I think he won 2 at Carolina, or was it 3?
I think it was 2.
I know it was 2.
Yeah, I don't believe it was 3.
I know they beat Illinois. I know they beat Gonzaga. And I think there was one more. I think he might have gotten 3.
If he got 3, then you got to put him in front of Pitino. But I mean,
then he goes in front of Self.
No, he's 3 times: 05, 09, and 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Self's only got 2.
9 Final Fours. Yeah, you can't argue with Roy.
Yeah, I don't put Self in the category of the guys you're talking about.
I probably don't either, but I think that would probably be our guys. It would probably be number 1 on the list would be
Coach K, for sure.
K.
Yeah.
Then I think
probably Roy. 3 championships. Could be
then
hard.
Pitino. Who's 4 though?
Nate Oates. I'm kidding.
4. I mean, Bob Knight coached in our lifetime, though it was he did his worst part of his coaching in our lifetime.
A decade ago, we would have said Calipari.
Yeah, but I mean, he's only got the 1. I don't know. But I think 3 is pretty easy.
Calipari should have had one at Memphis. A few missed free throws by Derrick Rose.
But it might be self just because he's got to. Because it can't be Izzo. Izzo's got a ton of Final Fours, but he's only got
the one.
Billy Donovan's got 2. I mean, just getting 2 doesn't.
I just with Pitino, though, man, like, he's had the best jobs in America. Louisville and Kentucky are 2 of the best jobs in America. He won there. He's had one of the worst jobs in America. He had to go to freaking Iona. He won there. Then he takes over a program that has not been good in forever. I mean, it feels like Chris Mullen was the last good player at St. John's.
Haven't been ranked since 2000.
No, Pitino is the guy that we used to fill in. Like, I used to make the argument all the time. If Nick Saban took Kentucky over, he could get them to Atlanta.
That's right.
And I think Pitino is the same kind of coach in basketball. And the crazy thing is, like, Saban ages well. Pitino, man. I mean, I don't know how old Pitino is because you look at him book by cover. He's got to be close to Saban's age. I would say if you just saw him, you'd be like, without the dyed hair, you'd be like, that dude's 85. He looks worse than Richard Lewis looked before he died on Curb Your Enthusiasm. But I would say that Pitino's probably 75.
It's a lot. Yeah, I'll look it up. It's a lot like Saban. Like if Pitino Dunaway, you were there, if he had never left Kentucky.
Oh, it would have been a dynasty.
I mean, God only knows what he would have done, right?
Dynasty. Yeah. And what about if he would have been in Kentucky with NIL?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. In this era coaching at Kentucky, Pitino's 72.
Saban's age.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of parallels because he was fortunate enough to get back in.
One has integrity, and the other one coaches basketball.
And here's the thing. Would you guys agree with this? Like, if you don't like Saban, it's because of fatigue and it's because of greatness. Yeah. And look, I mean, he seems like a dick, whatever. But Pitino just... You talk about snake oil salesman. There's just something
always
like
felt slimy, hasn't it?
You could not trust Pitino as far as you could throw it.
Listen, I was associated with the Rick Pitino show. I was associated with the Nick Saban show. I would be associated with Nick Saban all day long. I would do business with Nick Saban.
Where does Mike Price fall in?
I didn't spend enough time with him. I'm just saying that.
But Franchione is more Pitino, right? Is Franchione more Pitino?
Yeah. But Pitino, there's just bad vibes all around.
I'll tell you,
he was running the whorehouse, right?
I'm just saying, bad vibes all around.
I had one dealing with a guy, and I try, if I can't, if I'm asked, is somebody a nice guy or not, I try to only talk about my personal dealings, not what I've seen. Anybody can see what they see.
So was it a good day or bad day?
It was, Pitino could not have been nicer.
Oh, he always
could
very
not
nice.
have been nicer.
I'm just saying the vibes were, I mean, he's
got that one kind of like glass eye that is not a glass eye, but it kind of looks at you a little bit different.
I noticed that part.
I've only had one encounter with Calipari. He was great.
Listen, I spent not quite half a day with Calipari once in an event, and he could not have been better.
Yeah, I bet nobody says that about Dan Hurley. Nobody.
Yeah, I
bet nobody said it about Boeheim. Oh. I don't know how many people said it about Krzyzewski.
Boeheim seems miserable, and I know Wimp used to always tell us, "Y'all just misunderstand him," but I don't think I misunderstand Joe Boeheim. I think he's a miserable human being.
I would agree.
I don't know for that to be the case. I know some people come across in interviews that way, and I don't know anything about him. I just know personal, being around them in my job capacity. Not that I'm friends with either one. I never felt like I needed to go take a shower after I left Nick Saban, and the Pitino experience was different.
Is that Italian restaurant still standing?
I don't know.
Do you remember?
Did you ever eat there?
I don't think. I think it was in Louisville. That happened.
You remember the intern we had that was a big Kentucky fan, and we did Kentucky trivia with him. And one of the questions, this was back at Jackson, one of the questions was, which Italian restaurant did Rick Pitino have the incident in? And all Lance said goes, which Italian? And as soon as he said Italian, the guy buzzed in and knew the answer. Yeah, he knew. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but he said it before you could even.
Who was the Kentucky? I can't remember. Wasn't he a big dude?
Big, tall kid. Blake, I think, might have been his name. Am I right about that?
Oh, I was going with the bearded guy, bald bearded guy with the Celtics shirt on one of the pictures, but no, that's
Brad, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, this was a big, tall guy, and he was a huge Kentucky fan. Super nice kid.
I don't remember any interns. I remember two of the females. One.
I was going to say, you don't remember any of the dudes.
No, I remember two females. So one, Lauren, because she married Patrick Claiborne.
That is correct. Yeah, great free throw shooter. Remember, she did the free throw contest.
That's right.
Yeah,
and didn't lose all day long.
That's right.
Out of Baumhauer's. And then the other one, I remember her because she never showed up. and was her name was.
I know who you're talking
Jordan.
about. Yeah.
No, she was there. She just had a magazine. She just didn't do anything.
Oh, I don't think that's when she showed up. I think she didn't show up a lot of
Now
days.
you talk about the one that had her photo with the horse.
Yeah,
so
so
you're talking about two different people.
She
That's
followed
two
me
different
about
people.
a year ago on just
Yeah.
randomly. Like I haven't talked to her since she was an intern.
Yeah.
She randomly followed me on Instagram like a year, 2 years ago, and she posts all the time. And she's always in Hawaii or Vegas.
Well, good for her. So
read into that, whatever. But,
internship worked.
But like, there's never like an office setting.
Yeah, y'all are talking about two different people though. He's
No,
talking
we're
about the
talking
girl.
the same one.
No, I don't think so.
No.
The one that was the stewardess with Southwest and
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
picture
the
of
one
the
with the
he's talking about a different person.
I was talking about the Sanford Jordan.
Yeah.
She came up and she would show up. Like,
Yeah.
she was supposed to be 3 days a week. She'd
Yeah.
show up once every 2 weeks.
Maybe that's why I don't know her because
Yeah.
she never showed up.
And I remember that because Rockstar would be like, that Jordan girl didn't show up again today.
Yeah.
Hey, your intern Jordan didn't show up again today.
Yeah, it's Dunaway's intern. When she didn't
That's
show
the
up.
one that went to that trivia that we used to do, right?
Yeah, the one that showed up at the sex trivia?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
She came walking in, Sanford girl.
The what?
We did sex trivia one night, I think. It was trivia for sex products.
I'll tell you how it got shut down is the guy that we were no longer allowed to talk about. He was our general manager, but me and Rockstar back in the day on Thursday night, so we do Wednesday night, Odie's. Thursday night at Gray Bar, we do sex trivia.
280 here on Great. 280 Great.
And
It's
I
in
got-
downtown. It's 280.
I got called in. Somebody recently told me that somebody is hosting sex trivia and that you were giving a dildo away on Thursday night.
I was going to say sex toys, but
Yeah.
that was part of the
prize.
No, they used to come and tell you it was like a Christmas sack, and they would dump out like a
Onto a
bunch of
table.
DVD porns and like
Yeah.
all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And people it was really popular
Yeah.
for like a year.
Yeah, and if you got it right, you go over to the prize table and pick out your choice.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. And so this girl shows up, she's an intern and Sanford student. She shows up for trivia. I think she got confused on which one she was supposed to go to Wednesday
Or
night.
maybe
Thursday
she
night.
didn't.
And she walked in and looked at the prize table. And
It was short-lived, Tyler, but
Yeah.
it was popular for a minute.
Zach said we can't talk about the suit anymore. It was not Ryan Haney. That's not who shut it
No,
down.
no,
The
we
suit
talked-
was Ryan
No,
Haney.
no.
We talked about Haney the other day.
Yeah, no, Haney's still a buddy of ours.
Yeah, Haney's good.
shows up anytime. Michelson Laser Vision. A couple of things on Auburn, Alabama games, and then we'll get back to the Super Bowl, get trash, and get out of here on a Friday. Michelson Laser Vision, just look around the league.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number that I called more than 2 decades ago. Very important. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. True pioneer. Him and his daughter, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, you can always go online, michelsonlaservision.com. But call 205-969-8100 and tell them the next round sent you.
Florida and Auburn, 3 o'clock, ESPN2 moved off main ESPN because of the Lakers game. The Gators have already beat number 1 Tennessee. 14-game win streak, 6th longest in Auburn basketball history right now for these Auburn Tigers. Walter Clayton Jr. expected to play according to his coach today. We'll see where he is on the official availability report as questionable, whatever. But he says he's going to play and that the Auburn will get the best of Walter Clayton. Here's Bruce Pearl on whether or not we've got the best of the Auburn Tigers yet.
Have we seen the best of this team yet, or do you still have more to give?
Oh, we first of all, we have to get better. Like, if we don't get better, by the way, we're going to get beat. I mean, it's coming up. We're going to lose a game or lose games. But our focus is to get better. So I thought, like, for example, I thought our transition defense was better. I thought, for the most part, we shot it better. And every game's going to be different. Some teams are going to bother other teams differently. I can tell you Florida comes in on Saturday, and they are the most physical team in our league. Todd Golden was my assistant. He played point guard for me in 2009 on the USA Maccabi team. And, I'm not sure he has to shave but once a week. But that is what his teams play: hard, tough, and physical.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the next challenge.
And that's the matchup you focus on Saturday, right? It's Condon and Broome inside. That could be one for the ages to watch.
Yeah, and look, I don't think people, when you look at Todd Golden's team, I don't think people are like, damn, physicality.
I thought the same thing. Like, if you said the most physical team in the SEC, most people would say Tennessee.
Yeah. But short, skinny, 39-year-old Todd Golden put some monsters out there.
I do like Bruce's mentality is perfect. Like, we've got to get better, and we're going to lose a game or games because they are.
I brought this up on the basketball show. 49% is going into this weekend. 49% chance Duke finishes the ACC 20-0 is at 49%. And that's with Clemson on the road this weekend. If they beat Clemson on the road this weekend, I don't know what that percentage goes
They're
up
an
to.
8-point favorite. I mean, they're on the road. Do you think about what you're saying right there? They're on the road at probably the toughest game they'll play all year in conference, and they're an 8-point favorite on the road.
And the last time I was watching them play, and I forgot who they were blowing out, but I was like, this is going to be bad for them once they get into March.
And that was our point on the show was, can you make a comparison? I'd love your answer on this. Can you make a comparison between what Duke is going through now and a little bit what Gonzaga has done a couple of times where they got in conference and wasn't challenged?
Yeah, maybe. And those Gonzaga teams, and much like this Duke team, so much talent. I mean, Cooper Flagg's going to go number 1 overall.
But there's something about continuing to fight your way out of a
when
tough
you get into
spot.
a one possession game like Kansas City this weekend against Philadelphia. Like, there's never going to be a moment they sweat at all because they're in every one possession game. But yeah, I mean, if Duke gets inside of 2 minutes, you got to make critical free throws, and somebody's got to have that big basket for you, or they're going to be able to do it. And you're right. I mean, outside of Clemson this week, they do close at Carolina. So, I mean, that would be fitting that everything's on the line for 20-0.
Hubert Davis trying to save his job.
Yeah.
19-0 and trying to save it there.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
I mean, when he says they're going to lose a game, they got Florida tomorrow. You say no sweat at Vanderbilt. You still stand by that?
I stand by that.
I mean, it's the ultimate trap game between Florida and Alabama.
Yeah, stand by that.
Okay, no sweat at Vanderbilt. And they're at Alabama. You'll be doing the game, so I'm not going to ask you to make a pick.
Alabama's that's a must-win for Alabama.
Yeah, that's a must-win for Alabama. To win the conference.
To win the SEC regular season.
Yeah, that would be a deflating loss for Alabama.
Yeah.
Arkansas and Georgia at home. Those games are in Neville. Arkansas is playing much improved basketball.
Those are wins.
But then your finish, and this is the tough finish for Auburn, hosting Ole Miss, who they've already beaten on the road, at Kentucky.
Right.
Kentucky has not played as well of late. At A&M, difficult place to play. That's another one of those teams where if you're saying who are the more physical teams in the conference, that's one of them.
Yep.
And then they host Alabama again.
Yeah.
So
I think there's 2 losses. I think they lose either the Kentucky or A&M game, and I think they lose Alabama right now. Yeah. So I would say 2 more losses, which they're still the number 1 overall seed.
They should win the SEC with that, and they should be the overall 1 with that.
Should be the number 1 overall seed. And they're 9-0 in the conference. They're 9 wins away, and you look at that and you're pointing out they could lose that one, they could lose that one. But they could win them all, too. They could be 18-0 in a much tougher league. 18-0 versus 20-0 Auburn.
Well, let me ask you this.
Light years ahead of the journey Duke's on.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. But if Duke has 2 losses, if Duke does win out and Auburn does lose multiple games, if Auburn has, and look, in the conference is night and day. I mean, it really is apples and oranges right now with the SEC and the ACC. But if Duke has 2 losses, Auburn has 3, Duke has won at that point how many wins in a row? Hell, the last loss was Kansas way back in early November. So they would be on a 20-something game winning streak, and they beat Auburn. Do you think that would factor in at all with the committee of Duke potentially getting the 1 seat?
The head-to-head with Auburn?
To me, it would need to be
I'm just saying
tied.
if Auburn had more losses, too. If Auburn loses 2 games.
Yeah.
They lose 2 more games?
Yep.
That Duke name brand is so good, obviously.
Yeah, but
and in spite of all the success they've had, Auburn or Alabama still aren't the name brand Duke is.
I just think
I hope they are one day.
I just think of the games they've had to play. At that point, they would have set a quad 1 record for wins.
You're talking about Auburn now.
Yeah. I'm just I know the head-to-head resonates on a lot of situations. I just don't think it would this time because
do you know
of the
journey. Last time Duke beat a ranked team?
It was Auburn.
It was.
Duke is
that game seems so long ago.
Yeah.
Do you have their schedule? Duke's schedule up?
Yep.
They're 5-2 in quad 1 wins right now, Jim.
So Clemson's going to be a quad 1.
All right, that's at Clemson. That's a quad 1. Give me the rest.
Cal and Stanford are not.
Nope. No matter.
Virginia's not.
Virginia's not, no matter what.
Illinois, I guess, still is, but it's in Cameron. I guess it is.
Let me see where Illinois is.
Well,
they got to be in the top 25.
Is that a Big Ten ACC challenge?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, very random.
Yeah, Illinois 14. That's a quad 1A win, in fact.
Yeah, Miami's not. Florida State's not.
Nope.
Wake's not. Carolina's not.
Where is the Wake game?
It's in Cameron.
And Carolina's on the road?
Yep.
Carolina would still be a quad 1 if they can hold on there at 45.
So that gets them to 7.
Yeah.
Auburn had that in December. No, I'm serious.
No, I know. I mean, I know. It's
serious.
crazy. I'm laughing because it's so preposterous. Yeah.
I'm serious. It was December.
Yeah,
They had 7.
it's crazy.
I got to bring this up because this is wild. But right now on First Take,
Yeah,
we were
where
talking
are we?
about
Right there?
Alabama players are no longer allowed to wear jewelry to workouts.
Right.
Deion has got a tackle box. Deion Sanders is on the podium right now.
Right.
Or on the desk. He's got a tackle box showing them off. Like the what was the diamond the chick threw in the
Hope Diamond?
ocean? The Hope Diamond. He's got a Colorado colored one.
Oh, really? He's got a Colorado Hope Diamond?
From Titanic.
What?
The Heart of the Sea.
Heart of the Sea. It seemed like in the movie she didn't mean to drop it in there. She goes, "Whoop."
I thought she threw it in on purpose.
Yeah, I thought she did
but
too.
when she does a gasp, like oh my God, I dropped it.
I don't know. Tim, what did you think?
1,000% she meant to drop that thing in there.
Well, why did she react that way?
She was paying tribute to the people that were lost at sea.
I thought that was the whole point of the story.
It was like a relief that she finally did it. It was like an excitement. Like,
Yeah, I would have pawned it, but
I was ready for the movie to be over, so
Or
I
just
was
giving it to the scientist at the beginning of the movie. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
They were going on that whole expedition specifically for that.
Yeah, we could have cut to the chase there and saved about 3 hours.
talk about needle and haystack.
Yeah.
There's an alternate ending where the scientist is like begging for her not to drop it over the side, and it's a very bad ending.
It's Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton is?
It's Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that one would be better.
It was not. Trust me. It's very strange.
Alabama's also at Arkansas. Hemp Hill bringing you part of the show. So too our friends at MyBookie. Tell us about Hemp Hill LT.
205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. The guys there ready to serve you. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
All right, we've not moved the line on the Super Bowl just yet. Kansas City Chiefs still a 1-point favorite right now, and the total of 49. You can play that game. All the props. I was going to check college basketball real quick. We had some early lines earlier for Saturday games, and I was going to see if an Alabama line has popped up. What did you say you thought Alabama would be, Lance?
2.5.
MyBookie.ag. Dunaway, get ready. You get your phone out. Alabama's minus 6.5 at Arkansas. That's a big number.
I don't see that. You heard Fuhrman. I said it earlier. Then Fuhrman came on. I think Dunaway brought up the game, and Fuhrman said, "I've got Alabama in the 2 to 2.5 range."
Yeah, 6.5 right now. Auburn a 9-point favorite as they play host to Florida. We were talking about
That's about right.
That Duke Clemson game was at 8 earlier. It's down to 7.5. You can play all those games, the Super Bowl, all of that at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on there in the sports book. A 50% bonus up to $1,000. That you get right there when you use code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag. I know a lot of you like the casino. Code TNR Casino gets you a 300% casino bonus up to $2,000. That is code NEXTROUND for the sports book. 50% bonus up to $1,000. Code TNR Casino, a 300% bonus up to $2,000. All of that at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round, and MyBookie.ag, code TNR Casino.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Roback. Go to roback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
LT wanted to talk Super Bowl. We've hit it a few times. A little bit more here before trash, right after he tells us about Dr. B.
Dr. B, best in the business. We were all on a sales call yesterday, and we talked to a gentleman. He was very interested in Dr. B and his work that he's doing. I am hooking him up with Dr. B and that great staff right now. If you're starting to thin out like this gentleman, I would say he was in his late 20s, early 30s.
I don't think he was too late, though, looking at him. I think Dr. B could do some work.
That's what I told him. And I said, look, the integrity of Dr. B and that staff, too, if you go in and they can't do anything for you, they're not going to waste your money. They're going to let you know, and they're going to let you know within seconds. Literally, T3's got a new test. It's so easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It will show you which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Over 10 categories of agents they can use, knowing they will work for you. They can custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick and choose which agents you actually want. Men and women ordering Hims and other products online don't even know if they work. Dr. B has been using this test with amazing results for over 3 years. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff and see what will work for you. Call today. Tell them the Next Round sent you. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. For more information, you can always go online, t3hair.net.
The 11th Super Bowl in New Orleans, tying Miami for the most, coming up on Sunday. It's the 9th rematch in Super Bowl history. It's the 5th time that two head coaches have rematched in Super Bowl history, so that's happening this weekend. One thing to keep an eye on is the Spagnuolo blitzes against Jalen Hurts. Reputation is Hurts doesn't handle them well. That's wrong. Sixth best in the NFL at handling the blitz with a 66.1% completion rating. After week 4 this year, he's fourth best in the NFL. They had a bye week after week 4. They struggled the first 4 weeks. The Eagles weren't on the same pace. He's completing 68% against the blitz after week 4. That is fourth best in the NFL. So blitz him at your own peril.
Well, and he'll get blitzed. I mean, that's what Spagnuolo does. And as you heard Orlovsky talk about Wednesday, Lance, it's the timing. It seems like Spagnuolo times it out every single time they're not ready at the right time to blitz. The exotic nature of it and how many blitzes come from the secondary. I don't know if the numbers support this. I know Jim doesn't necessarily have that number. But the way everybody talks, they blitz out of the secondary more than anybody in football.
And it's going to be such a chess game between Kellen Moore and Spagnuolo because Kellen Moore loves to run the football so much. So if you're Spags, you got to figure out, on these key downs for Philadelphia when you're actually going to send the house. The thing about Philadelphia is they just don't turn the football over. When I was going through props this morning, Mahomes' interceptions is a half, and the under is like minus 165. So he's a pretty heavy favorite that he will not throw an interception. And I think Hurts is a half, and I think it was minus 150. So they're saying that neither one of these guys is going to throw an interception.
Travis Kelce talking about what LT's talking about here, how Patrick Mahomes is on top of his game.
Pat's ability to just week in, week out, his routines, constantly find ways to get better. After our first Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure every defensive coordinator found it in their job to find a way to stop Pat Mahomes in the offseason. Like, if they knew that they were playing Pat Mahomes, they were going to take a peek at trying to stop the best. And for Pat's ability to keep staying at the top of the quarterback position, his ability to do that all while being one of the best fathers, being one of the best husbands that I know, it's just absolutely incredible, man. And I couldn't be more proud of him.
You know what's crazy is, last night at the NFL award show, the 2 best seasons by far, Josh Allen, who ultimately wins the MVP, and then Lamar Jackson. But those guys they've never scratched a Super Bowl. Yeah, and this guy is back playing for number 4. I mean, it's crazy, and I do think Allen and Lamar were better this year, but what does it matter?
Josh Allen was the MVP last night, one of the closest votes ever. It is the first time in a long time, maybe 1987, that the MVP was not the first-team All-Pro quarterback.
Which was Lamar.
Yeah.
Lamar's numbers, and hey, look, they're right there. Lamar's numbers are much better than Josh Allen's, but watching them, and I will give credit to whoever voted on this, and I don't know how you guys felt about it. Watching it seemed like Josh carried his team more than Lamar did.
I felt about it about like the vote went. I mean, it was a very tight vote.
I mean, I have no problem either way, but I just felt like this year Josh Allen was the best player.
The difference ended up being a couple of people on the ballot put Lamar Jackson 4th in MVP voting, and that's where the marginal difference ended up being. Saquon was your offensive player of the year. Patrick Surtain, the second from Alabama, was the defensive player of the year, the first Alabama player ever to be the defensive player of the year.
And I'm glad you got to that today because I was reading one of the NFL, Jordan Schultz, a guy that's been on the show before with Fox, saying how highly uncommon it is for a cover corner to be your defensive player of the year because it's such a stat-driven
I don't think we've ever seen it, have we?
I don't know if we have.
Darryl Green, back in the day.
Deion, somebody like that maybe. But Dunaway, they were saying it's such a highly stat-driven award, and you don't get stats if you're good at cover because nobody throws at you.
Do you have all the award winners?
I was Jared Verse as the
defensive rookie of the year. I was just wondering who that was.
And Jaden Daniels was the offensive rookie of the year. Another compliment to you on Jaden Daniels and Jared Verse, of course, with your Rams there.
Have y'all ever heard the Verse story, though, real quick?
No, go ahead.
2020, in the pandemic, he was a receiver at Albany.
Wow. Jared Verse
was a receiver at Albany, and he got bored and started working out, and he put all this weight on, and then they decided to let him try to be an edge rusher. This was all just pandemic-based. He was just like, I was so bored, I decided to put some weight on, and when he did, the coaches were like, damn, you can play defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, with that speed.
Goes, starts getting after it, and then transfers out to Florida State. But without the pandemic, he says, I would have played receiver. He's probably, I don't know, working a real job right now.
Yeah, another rookie defender that was in the vote.
Yeah.
Insanity. I think 3 or 4 of the top 2 were Ram rookie defenders there. Nick Sirianni here, it seems like the pressure is on the Chiefs, right? Because they're going for history to be the first team ever to have a three-peat, to win 3 in a row. But Nick Sirianni gets asked about the pressure for him to win because nobody really likes him.
Always pressure in this game. Like, have you been to Philly? I tell the story sometimes about one of my first games there as the head coach, and we're in a preseason game, and it was a preseason game, and they were booing at halftime, and I kind of remember getting in the car. So my wife adapted very quickly to Philly because I got in the car, and I've told this story before. So us coaches only have so many stories, and we recycle them and tell them over and over again. But I got in the car, and I'm like, "Could you believe that they were booing us at halftime of a second preseason game? It was against the Patriots." And she said, "Well, what'd you give them to cheer about?" And I was like, that was fair. And so, there's pressure in all professional sports, we're used to that. We're built for it.
Pressure's on the most.
I think it probably, well, Sirianni maybe, but I think it is Kansas City a little bit, just because, I don't know, I don't feel like there's really pressure on either side.
It feels like the Eagles to me because those windows can close so quick. If the Chiefs don't get it, they miss out on the history. But that group,
the window's been full.
They've had 3 already.
Yeah, but maybe even for Philadelphia, being there 2 years ago, I know they blew the game. But I don't think people realize how good this Philadelphia team is. They're viewed as the underdog. And look, I know the number is only 1 right now, which is where it should be, right around a pick. But, I mean, this is a Philadelphia team. They've won 15 of their last 16 games. They have not lost a game since September.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about how good Philadelphia is because it's Kansas City on the other side.
That's exactly right. Mortgage Right brings you trash every day. Tyler is going to spin a button for us and get us going away from the sports headline. Super Bowl's 5:30-ish kick. On Fox this weekend. Mortgage Right brings us trash.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
It is always buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take those next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Are you guys fans of Warheads, the candy?
I don't eat them a lot, but I did it when I was a kid. I do like them.
This is one of the most disgusting collaborations I think I've ever seen.
All right.
You've got the pickle in a pouch.
Ooh.
Van Holten's pickle in a pouch. Now they are going to combine with Warheads to have the extreme sour blue raspberry pickle in a pouch.
That sounds awful.
So it's a real pickle that'll be soaked in pickle juice that has the blue raspberry flavor.
Yep.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Now, according to Eric Gerard, the VP of Sales and Marketing at Van Holten, quote, social media is where trends are born. Pickles have been at the forefront of snack culture. I don't know about that. I like the pickle. I don't like the pickle like that, though. I would rather have like the diced up pickle.
Yeah, I like the sliced up
bread and butter
Wickles.
Has anybody ever gotten the pickle in a bag at the service station though?
I mean, apparently some people have.
I know. I mean, anybody on this show.
No.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. You go in there and my dad would get the pickled
hoof out of
the pickled
in there
pig's
too.
feet and all that stuff, and I would get the pickle out of the jar. And back then they'd stick a stick in there and hand it to you, but now I guess they've got sanitary bags they put it in.
Isn't that amazing? Somebody will go in there and choose the pig's hoof out of a pink jar when you can just grab a Snickers.
Yeah, I mean, really, that stuff looks like a pig's doctor's office. That stuff's been amputated and it's just sitting in a jar, and that's what I'll eat that. Is it raw? Yeah, it's pickled.
Did your dad ever let you take a taste?
No, I wouldn't taste.
So he would eat pig's feet. Pickled pig's feet.
Yes. And he's maybe listening right now. And before he meets our maker, he in his last meal, he probably would ask for some of that.
It sounds awful.
So would that have been like 4 downs yesterday?
He'd probably want me to go harvest a beaver and fry that up or boil that up for him in some beaver stew and let him have some pickled pig's feet and something else.
That is interesting. Nobody's ever asked for beaver on their last,
I think they have.
meal.
I think they have.
Beaver stew.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yesterday, the 4 downs question was, what would your go-to side be if it wasn't French fries? Would your old man go pig's feet?
Oh, he would eat the crap out of them. He would eat the crap.
Did you
out
ever
of them.
smell beaver stew being cooked?
No. He the time he ate a beaver was when he was he killed it going to high school.
Ran it over?
Brought it home.
Yeah.
No, he shot it.
Oh,
yeah.
So
so he pulled over on the side of the road late to homeroom.
No, he had to walk to high school.
Yeah.
With a gun.
But he was packing heat.
He walked to high school back in the day on a creek bed, basically beside a creek, and killed a beaver one day. Had a gun.
He only got so many pockets. So he's got gun. He's got his cigarettes.
Did he leave it in his locker?
Cigarettes back then were rolled up.
Did he take his
in
bowling
sleeve
ball with
like
him and his
that.
darts too?
He didn't roll bowling balls or darts back then, but he killed a beaver and took it home and ate it. My Nanny and Mama. Mama was that side of the family. My Mama cooked it up for him.
Is this Jim? Or they called you Junior, right? Junior, don't waste that bologna. I had to kill a beaver on my way to school
I
one
used to
day.
eat beaver all the time.
Yeah, no, my dad, I've told the story before, when he goes to a bar and if he brings something to eat and you ask what it is and he says, I'll tell you later, don't eat it. Because it's going to be something that is not
something like beaver.
That stew or that chili is not made with ground beef or USDA something. There's a story behind it.
Tyler,
and he's
he used
going to tell you about it at the end.
He used to spit pellets and BBs out when he was eating dinner.
He will tell you about what it is. If you say, just eat it, it's good. Don't eat it because it's a story later. It's going to be a beaver. It's going to be a raccoon. It's going to be something. Possum. It's going to be something. It's not going to be normal. Like I've got to eat. These guys don't get most of the stuff he tells me to give them. But I've got a jar of jam that looks like it's apple jelly. And
I love apple jelly.
And I have not opened it yet because
You like apple butter.
I do. I like apple jelly,
I
too.
said, is that apple jelly? And he's like, no. But make sure the boys try it.
Nope.
And I said, what is it? And he's like, just let me know after you try it. And I said, okay, I will. And it has sat right there in that kitchen, in that cupboard, ever since I brought it back. Because I don't want to try it because he won't tell me what it is.
Hugh says souse meat. Now, I've eaten souse meat. Have you ever had souse meat?
Is that
that's all the leftovers just crammed together?
I probably have, but I had a hot dog yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's leftover pig, right?
I think it's leftover pig, yeah. I don't think it's leftover beef. I think it's leftover pig. It's all the leftover parts that they didn't
even amputate
That's
and
right.
throw into the pickle juice. It's the other stuff.
That's the other stuff,
Yeah.
and they just cram it together in souse meat.
Isn't that what potted meat is?
I don't know if that's potted meat.
I think that's what potted meat
It
is.
probably is. I mean, what else would potted meat be?
I think potted meat is just leftovers.
There's something else. There's another.
Potted meat is a form of traditional food preservation in which hot cooked meat is placed into a pot, tightly packed to exclude air, and then covered with hot fat.
That sounds like a fancy way of saying exactly what Dunaway said.
Yeah, it's all the stuff we couldn't sell.
Yeah. As the fat cools, it hardens and forms an airtight seal.
Okay, well.
I mean, would you rather have a oak house filet tonight or some potted meat?
I'm going to go filet. Thank you.
Okay, so what was the show back in the day? I think it was it called Doogie Howser, where he was a kid, but he was a doctor?
Doogie Howser, MD.
Doogie Howser.
So we've got a boy, 13 years old, arrested at a hospital for impersonating a doctor. Now, officers arrested a child.
Wait, that is a stock photo of Doogie Howser.
Did you already have this ready?
Yes, believe
Okay, I
it or
didn't know
not,
that.
this is not the actual
Yeah.
kid
No.
from England.
That's
that got
literally
arrested.
Doogie Howser.
That is
right?
so weird
Yeah.
that I brought up Doogie Howser, though.
Yeah. By the way, it looks like somebody I know. I'm trying to figure out who it is.
I got no idea.
A little bit of Chris Stewart's youngest kid that's really good at golf.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's a random pull.
Yeah.
So this 13-year-old apprehended at the Darriford Hospital after concerns raised by security. The bizarre incident, however, could not be resulting in any prosecution. Instead, the boy was, quote, given words of advice before being let go. Further information on why the boy was allegedly impersonating a doctor has not been released. Spokesperson said, quote, police were called around 10:30 a.m. on Saturday the 19th. To the hospital by security, and there were reports of a male impersonating a doctor at the hospital. The boy was de-arrested, and the matter has since been dealt with by way of words and advice. Boy, enjoy your youth, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Full screen on Doogie Howser real quick, please. A little bit of EG if she hosted a primetime show on MSNBC with that haircut.
Your head sometimes is... So you're saying if EG lopped her hair off and hosted an MSNBC show, she looked like Doogie Howser?
Wow.
She's
here and could be listening.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
You'll know who she is.
That what's her name? Maddow.
Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, a little bit of her. Yep.
EG will be offended. You said that.
Should be.
It was a stretch. You had to put it all together.
Florida man arrested at an auto parts store in Georgia after he was heard, quote, barking like a dog for more than an hour.
Not after the Sugar Bowl, he wasn't.
He's taking a couple of shots to the head here.
Yeah, he is. It's a triangle, right? According to the incident report from the Forsyth Police Department, the owner of the Advanced Auto Parts store called police to report a male who had been at the store for over an hour was barking like a dog when officers arrived and confronted the man, who was identified as 29-year-old Jonathan Navis. They asked him what was going on. He responded, he said, quote, I have no idea that I was causing any issue, end quote. Now, Forsyth police officers asked for some ID. He told them that his driver's license was in the car parked outside. Upon going to his car, they spotted a, quote, clear baggie containing syringes. A search of the car found that there was a clear crystal substance, and they revealed that substance was meth. He was arrested, by the way.
Barking like a dog in Georgia doesn't necessarily make you stand out. That's the wild thing. Like, they probably for a minute just thought he was a big Georgia fan.
You let it pass for a little bit.
That's right. And they're like, well, we're out of season here. And then, now won't stop.
Then
now he's lifted his leg and he's pissing on the air filters.
Does he have earbuds in? Is he listening to Buck and Joe on AM 680? No. Then you ask him where his driver's license is, and he still barks.
He's got a touched-up beard to do a lot of meth, right?
He really does. I mean,
he's well put together, other than the fork fight he got into.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to know the story behind that.
He's got the sores that you might see with somebody that's rolling around with meth,
right?
But then he's got the trimmed-up beard. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, see, those spots are where the bugs were in his skin.
Is that legitimate?
There's something that is very common with meth users.
They have bugs?
They'll think they have bugs under their skins, and they'll start scratching
itching
their face until you get big old sores like
Okay.
that.
No, you know
Learn
more
something
about meth.
new every day.
You know more about meth than I thought you did.
Tyler is a wealth
Have
of
you
knowledge.
met Tyler's roommate? I'm kidding.
I have not.
I don't have a roommate.
Me either back in the day. Good for you.
It's nice.
You're going to have to help us out on this story a little bit because I got a little confused. An Idaho man's theft scheme involving a literal crime ring and a soup barcode just landed him in jail.
Oh, wow.
Now, Dylan Rockwell.
What did Ush do?
32 years old, admitted he looks a lot older than 32, by the way. This guy. 32 admitted to police that he used a ring with a hidden barcode for tomato soup to steal high-value items from a Walmart.
Okay. I mean, this could happen. That's why you got to have that one person there checking
right.
everything when you're doing it.
Boy, they don't pay attention, and they don't want you to ask them a question.
Yeah, and
it's the worst checkout method ever.
And then when I walk up, I'm always like, you need to see my receipt? No, man, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Now, Rockwell allegedly scanned the ring instead of the actual product barcodes to pay a fraction of their cost. The incident occurred Sunday evening when officers responded to a reported theft in progress at Walmart. While police were en route to the scene, Rockwell exited the store heading westbound in his vehicle. Rockwell was detained at his residence, and the stolen merchandise, including a grill valued at $300, was recovered by the CPD. Now, wouldn't you think that you've got to make the item somewhat close?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do myself a favor. I'm gonna save 30 or 40% on these items.
That's right. I'm not going to steal a grill and swipe a stick of deodorant and be like,
Yeah, like if I saw a grill, if I saw a guy paying for it and it said $129 to $400, I'd be like, okay,
I got a good deal.
But $7, I'm gonna be like,
I'm not an idiot. Brian Daboll.
Oh yeah, that is that's much closer.
Yeah, that's what Daniel says. Brian Daboll has really fallen off.
Yeah. He should have scanned for a quarterback.
No, Brian Daboll's he's lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
Also, I just saw in the chat, EG's after you.
Yeah, she's a bit upset, Jim.
What did she say?
Please. She's not going to forget this one.
She'd rather be compared to a man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a sense,
she
that's
was.
what Jim was doing.
And not really a man.
I mean, say it without
Doogie
saying
Howser.
it is what I'm trying to do there. That is the show brought to you by, excuse me, not the show, but trash brought to you by friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have that big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Still trying to help you as you fill out your bracket. Last night, Maryland loses at Ohio State. Quality win for Ohio State on a banked three-point shot with 7 seconds left. 73-70, Ohio State won the game. Both those teams will be in the tournament. San Francisco upset St. Mary's. That's a quad one win for San Francisco. We are drunk on quad one wins in the SEC. We're drunk on them. To show you how the rest of the world lives, this is a quote from the Field of 68. San Francisco is now 1-2 in quad one wins. They have no bad losses on their resume. If they were to beat St. Mary's or Gonzaga and get their second quad one win, they'd have a good case for an at-large bid.
Well, I mean,
two quad one wins makes a case.
Well, I guess you just don't have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, they are 64th in the net, so it seems like a hard sell for the NCAA selection committee to say they could get at large.
Seems like I'd rather take the 14th SEC team at that
point.
point.
Let me just give you the neighborhood they're living in right now at their spot in the net. Oregon State, Indiana. Indiana's firing their coach.
Yeah. Mid-season, he'll resign technically. But yes.
Yeah. Iowa, Wake, Central Florida. I mean, that's who they're around in the net. So
yeah,
I don't see that.
I remember when the SEC wasn't like it is now. If Alabama got a second quad one win, we'd be like, okay, that could be enough for their resume. You know, they got the second quad one win. We're just so drunk on how good Auburn is and Alabama's schedule has been and the wins they've had so far this year. So basketball coming up this weekend. We've got the NFL and the Super Bowl. A couple more Super Bowl things to tell you about here in this Super Bowl matchup. It's the third time that Philadelphia and Kansas City franchises have played for a world championship. Obviously, 2 years ago, these two teams played. Do you know the first time that it was the Kansas City franchise against the Philadelphia franchise?
Is this NFL?
Nope.
Oh, so
professional
the
sports
professional sports. I am going to say the Kansas City Kings versus the Philadelphia
76ers.
76ers.
That would be a great guess. I don't know if the Kansas City Kings, they were Kansas City Omaha Kings technically.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever made it to a world championship. It was the Kansas
Royals
City
and Phillies,
Royals
1980.
And the Philadelphia Phillies in 1980.
Yep.
Won by?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
In 6 games. On that team at third base was Mike Schmidt. The first baseman was?
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
Look at Lance. Ask him another question. Who was the manager?
Larry Fregosa? Dallas Green.
Dallas Green. Star pitcher lefty?
Steve Carlton.
Steve Carlton.
Yeah, Jim Fregosi is who you were thinking about, the Phillies manager.
But it was Dallas Green.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
So, I mean, people forget Pete Rose, also a Philadelphia Philly on that great team. 1980, first time Kansas
Larry
City.
Boa. That was really good Philadelphia team.
So Philly and Kansas City have split. The third meeting coming up this weekend. Tell me what you're expecting from the Super Bowl. We'll go Ryan first here. Ryan, what do you expect in this game?
I think there's a reason nobody's ever won 3 straight, and I am not going to count on it starting now. I think Philadelphia, some would say, saves America. I'm not willing to go that far. I'm not a huge Eagles fan myself, but I think Philadelphia gets the win here on the back of Saquon Barkley.
Mahomes just doesn't have bad games. He just doesn't. But on the other side, I think Hurts is going to make enough plays. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I think it's going to be one possession back and forth nonstop. But Kellen Moore, what's going to be fascinating is how hard-headed he is wanting to win a championship, old school, running the football. And I think they can actually achieve it. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be low scoring. And I think Philadelphia wins.
I think more than a touchdown, Chiefs win it. They get the 3-peat.
I mean, that certainly feels like what I say what the betting public feels like. Obviously not. The point spread's only 1. And I don't know where the money
falls.
It's
weird. I think the public money is more on Philadelphia, which public money on Super Bowls typically wins. I'm awful at Super Bowls, but all the media has got Kansas City winning this game.
I believe the Chiefs end up winning it. Champy's Chicken, enjoy that on Sunday. Take it home for the game. You can enjoy it anytime. Sterling and the crew right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is the best in the business for lunch or dinner, date night tonight, or your Super Bowl home party. You can have great Southern fried chicken cooked to order. He's got unbelievable hand-cut chicken fingers, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. Taylor and I will be at the Auburn game, Florida and Auburn tomorrow, post-game after the Auburn game and post-game after the Alabama game. 2 different post-games are out. 2 different previews of those games are out on our YouTube channel, and a new version of the Basketball Show podcast is out for you there. New Bama and Bourbon is out from this week. If you haven't caught that yet, you can catch that on our YouTube platform. And we're back with you Monday. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.